Nope.
Hey.
I watched the game. I don't need to watch the lecture.
Yeah, okay. Says the person who messed up their shapes yesterday.
Ooh.
Ooh, 6 foot. Sorry.
I'm not afraid to bully you Q players and semi-Dawn player. All right.
Semi-done.
Wow.
That does seem like a brush.
All right. I'm going to go through the problems and then we can do the lecture.
Okay.
Do you guys have any idea what to play here? Is this a new shape, a new concept to
Sure
you?
is.
I would hit back.
You would hit back?
I
You would undo?
cry.
Yeah, so
Undo, yes.
normally you have this shape, and this can devolve into black skirting underneath, or we get into where black plays this shape and then takes one stone. Sometimes white can play here first, but then you still need to come back and fix. If you fix first and then they go up, that just leaves more room to do attachments and stuff. But black didn't play this. Black plays here. So what can we do?
Just want a high under.
Yeah.
Hane under, okay.
I kind of want to clamp because it feels like
Let me. What's the hotkey for that? F7. Sweet. So Hane under, clamp.
honey on top.
If you had a lot of thickness. If you had interesting stuff in the bottom of the board.
That's wild. Okay. Just play every move on that stone.
R16.
Let's just talk about this move. You broke your own shape. Please don't do this. I can descend, and if you Hane on top, I can turn this way, which means black is coming out for free, right? Normally, when you Hane on top, they would have played this move, and you would be able to block, and it would revert to Joseki. But when you play this one, and then I play here, if you connect, then black's going to push, and then jump. If you just connect, when black jumps, you're now left behind a cutting point, which you need to fix. So that's why this is completely wrong. Never play this in your game. I promise you, if you never play this shape in your game, you'll improve by a stone. Now, if you play other shapes that ruin your shape, you'll be dragged down a couple stones too. So, eventually it'll even out, but
I was gonna say, what if I play
okay. Let's talk about the Hane on top. If you're going to Hane on top, you're clearly looking to play down like this, but you really have to ask yourself, do you have the strength to play this way? If you do, that's fine. Like maybe you have Sente to take the corner, right? But if we're not able to connect the one stone up, then we've given it up for maybe 8 points on the corner. This would be the normal sequence that follows. Your opponent really isn't going to play this one just because it becomes a Hane at the head of two stones and it's bad shape. So if you descend in this position, you've already messed up. You need to extend out because if your opponent keeps trying to play the Hane at the head of stones, now they're just walking their stones out. So one move you can play is this one. And this will revert to another position that you might be familiar with. Is we take, we Atari, and then we have a scary Ko. If you can't play the Ko, we play like this. And then you can go underneath.
Travoke says here white is weaker than B, so a non-extension move seems to make sense.
I don't have chat up, so I can't answer that. What was it again? White is weaker?
Here white is weaker than B, so a non-extension move seems to make sense.
White is weaker than black.
Yeah. White is weaker than black.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm reading the chat for you.
Okay, thank
Whatever
you.
question or statement is valuable, throw it out.
One thing that can happen when you play this way is you can play the Atari. They extend, we connect. They take the one stone, take, and then we have Hikaru.
Wait, what?
Oh, that joke just went over everyone. Hikaru, the chess player, Nagamura, take. Okay, never mind.
This is a good
I'll stop.
This is
I'll
go.
stop.
You said Hikaru in a girl room. No one was thinking about Hikaru.
Yeah, literally. I was like, this is from something from manga.
No.
Check, check.
So when we take and we give it the stone, this is fine if, say, the outside isn't important, but we do need to connect up. And you may want to finish the ko. If you don't, and you play elsewhere, we now have this, which becomes a ko. That is all you need to know about this shape. And I will say, if you're black and you wedge first, you have the opportunity of playing this exact position. So be careful. Normally, we get into this, or white extends and then crawl. And this can also happen, yeah.
So can we talk about why black chooses the attach instead of sort of the?
It's to force this.
It's because they want that variation specifically.
Yes.
Okay.
You're not looking to live locally, you're looking to split the side. And so you want either this shape,
Yeah.
which means you shouldn't play this if your opponent can get a better position by playing this way. Or this is the shape that we actually want. And usually we play this when we can play the ko.
Okay.
Because if we can connect, then all the stones around black shape is destroyed.
So what you're saying is, not this variation, the one you just showed. It would have been better to just play R12 to start. Like if you're just going to play
This
that
one?
yeah. Should you have just played R12 to start in that case and not attached?
No, I think attach is mostly correct.
Okay, I guess
This is a variation that white chooses. You don't get to choose what variation white plays.
I guess I'm trying to understand why black chooses to play Q11 instead of R12 to start.
You play this because you don't want this.
Well, why does black have to? Black doesn't have to play R11 though, right? They can wedge.
Okay, but white chooses again.
So like,
Chooses to do that. Okay.
So you wouldn't play
I
the
see.
middle
Okay.
third space.
Because this is what white will do.
Yeah, white can choose to play this way.
Okay. So to avoid that, you play the attach instead.
The thing about like these types of invasions
Mhm.
is that you need to be aware that once you invade, you don't have the choice anymore.
That's fair.
You invaded, they get to choose the variation.
That's a good rule of thumb.
What was the next one? I think it was something spicy like this. And then black played this one.
So Jay, another thing that I wanted to say is since
Yeah.
you've got some players that are kind of fairly new to the game, sometimes it's hard to understand what is a good variation for you. So keeping in mind things like it was black's corner, you approached, what should you hope to get out of this, that kind of stuff.
I will say the variations that I showed were all neutral.
Okay.
They're all context dependent. So it really depends on the board in
Mhm.
terms of what's good and what's bad. But in general, the positions that I showed you were Joseki.
Yeah.
Excluding B.
It's not just like, don't play it.
So
Look at
why-
you, Trevor. Don't play B.
I've learned that several times because I've played splitting alt. I
Okay.
love doing that apparently.
So I guess like a new player might be like, oh no, my stone at R14. What if I lose that? Right.
I honestly, I just tell them that sometimes you have to let go.
let go be go.
Go is not a game about saving everything.
Right.
Go is a game of trading, and your opponent are always trading on the board. Always.
Yeah, I think that's a good lesson.
I see. I'm missing my water bottle. Sad.
Because I think that was one of the hard things for me when
I
I
have
was
no
starting out is like you play a stone, like an approach move on a corner, and it feels like, wait, you're not supposed to
So
cut that stone off. And
the sorry to interrupt.
yeah, and then you feel like you blew the variation because you lost the stone, right?
Well,
And so even if you didn't, and you end up in an even position, psychologically you feel like you just like messed up the game. Right?
that's yes. You'll see that in the main lecture. So I will say the reason you learn Joseki is you learn patterns, and you learn what's good and what's not. So in those variations, you learn two main variations there. One was sacking a stone to play a ko, or take the outside stone. The other one was white giving up a stone to connect underneath.
Yeah.
Right? Those are both good in their own right. But in certain positions, like if black has a moyo across the top side, you would not want to give black a panuki.
Yeah.
There's an extra stone there. So maybe it's not. But they captured a stone, which means it's very thick.
Mm-hmm.
That means the top side is more valuable. You would only give up a stone when the top side is not valuable or the outside is not valuable. Whereas the other position, white would only want to play that if they can connect reasonably and take gote, or they can play the ko.
Yeah.
Sometimes taking gote is not good enough. So I can give you maybe not the situations, but I can give you like the end result and say you would do this when you can do these types of position. Oh.
Yeah, I think that can be
Uh-oh.
useful, and just calling out like what each side gets from. The
1 second.
exchange.
I need to stop my computer from exploding.
That's dangerous.
In a room with this many people.
Have you ever had an electronic explode?
No,
I
I have
haven't
not.
either, but like one day it's gonna happen.
It used to be a thing. Wasn't it a thing with one of the like Samsung phones?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
They would explode.
Yeah.
Because there was a fault in the capacitor that was put directly behind the battery that was induced by heat.
Mm-hmm.
Good thing cell phones don't get hot.
Good thing cell phone batteries don't get hot when charging.
Yeah, that too.
Just don't make an enemy of Mossad and you'll be fine.
All right. So this position specifically happens a lot. You'll notice it in like Chinese variations or just 1-3-4 or double 3-4s. Usually you'll play this attachment on a 3-4 when the side is big or it has a pincer stone and you don't want to be pincered or squished. And what I mean by that is, let me edit tool. So you might be familiar with the Chinese opening. It's a very common tactic to attach and then hane. And the idea is black will connect, will push, and then black will be forced to take the side with the extra stone, and then white can extend across the top side. That is a common case. What I want to go over is what happens when black messes it up. So in this situation, black has a couple of options, and they play this one. This is a case where black really only wants to play this move when they can play thickly on the outside. Most of the time, this is not true. So what do you do here as white?
Too early.
Go 15.
Or did you just go for an actual Atari right away?
Go 15. Which Atari?
Either or.
Okay, we'll put them on there. Any other
P17,
P17?
and for good measure, R14.
Let's snip R14 out of the butt. You're in a ladder. Don't do this. That's exactly what Black was threatening, was a ladder, and he fell for the trap.
And then you Atari on the inside. and
Yes.
the corner.
I'm sure.
Yes, I'm sure.
If you do this,
No, not that one.
that one?
Yeah.
I'm just going to connect. You did not get the corner. You could say we split it, but you could play this way. Takes, and
Ed
you
says the proverbial my opponent's best move is my own 016.
I see. This is one way that this could go. It could get complicated, but normally if you play this way and your opponent gets this shape, they'll probably just give up a stone, take the corner, and white is actually not good in this case because they're almost surrounded on all sides. So you would need to extend from this group, and black has a pretty good thick shape on the outside. If black just connects, you have problems here. You have a double cut. You need to fix them. Black can play the Atari. Black is extra alive, and they're super thick. And again, white, although they got the corner, they're surrounded on almost all sides. So if black extends again, we may need to answer this. But black is going to be very thick towards the top side. So we wouldn't want to give up two stones like this. And the off chance that you do play this and your opponent extends, I'm just going to say that both of you have played severely wrong, and we're not going through this. So E is not correct. And Ed, maybe. I like this move. It's probably okay. But considering that if we try to just take the corner like this, you left yourself with Aji.
We get to fight the code.
You could, but yeah. If you try fighting the Ko, then you better have Ko threats, right? That's one way you could play. If you play this one, it really depends on the ladder. Black can make it more complicated with such things like this. If white descends, well, you have a problem with this stone being laddered, but then these two stones are still somewhat weak. So if you extend and then white extends, you're losing these two stones, but now you're laddering. So if you extend again, white gets a ladder. If you just take, right? So instead, you can probably just play this Atari. If they extend down, then we play this way. And now if they extend down, we can extend this way, but maybe our three stones are in trouble now. So if you block on the outside, we just lose these two stones, or three stones. If we play here, we have to fight this, right? If you try to take a liberty here, white now has a really nice ladder. So you're pretty much in trouble. So this is a fighting variation that can happen. I imagine just this. If they extend down, we connect. And if white turns, we can extend. And essentially, white is on the fourth line here, and the corner cannot be hurt. So the corner is fine. Such that this, and then white needs to protect on the outside, and then we're always going to either get the turn or eventually we're going to be able to play this Atari or play this one. So white would probably need to come out a bit further, and at some point you no longer have to respond and you can just capture these stones. So it's a fighting variation that can happen, but I think it's a little bit more complicated I think we can play a little bit more simple, such as just play B. And then in this situation, we need to consider the liberties. And the big target right here would be these 2 stones. We could take this. If black just takes the 1 stone, we can descend, take, and then take. This ensures that there's no oddity in the corner. If you decide to jump out, then we do have this. And black can get some good endgame.
When white just takes in the corner, that seems like an amazing result for white, right? Like this was black's corner. Now white, like black has some thickness, obviously facing the bottom. But, like
I would say
white has
it's.
the corner with points and like 4th line stone facing out.
I would say it's probably slightly better for white, just because black does have Sente here. And if you try to take Sente, then you obviously lose some endgame here. There is the chance that maybe you can play this way, but thanks. There's still some issues like this turn, and then this. So potentially that Aji can come into issues, right? So if you take Sente, you just have to calculate the risk, right? Now, there is also, black can also be greedy here. Such as this. We can play this one, Hane, and we can probably extend, and this would just turn into a muddled mess, right? So my whole point about like this type of variation is you have to be careful when you attach to your opponent, because when stones touch, it gets complicated. Does that make sense? Do you guys have questions about this? I mean, I can go over these ones, but I think it's fairly obvious. We made this exchange, and then this isn't very good for white anymore. If you extend, we made the Atari exchange, that wasn't very good. If you just turn, we can just connect, and it will return to another complicated variations of such. You can turn or play this way. And black will definitely try to fight you at every tooth and nail. Yeah.
For you, Jay, kind of about your personal philosophy. So I know when I was, and I still do this, it's like if you feel like your opponent has broken from Joseki, overplayed somehow, then there's this like urge to punish them for their overplay, right? Even if you don't know how, you're like, I gotta find the move that destroys them for making this mistake.
Mm-hmm.
When do you think that's like the right mindset to have versus like just play something solid and their mistake will come back to haunt them eventually, right?
So if we imagine like this as the example, right? If both players just play this way, both players are playing solidly, you already took the advantage from them. So we can recognize that we stole the corner, black has the outside, they have Sente, so we have a slight advantage, and we took it from them. When they try to resist, we can still take. We don't have to answer in the corner anymore. We can actually extend now, and then the corner is just endgame at that point. And if they try taking the corner with the toe, we can fight it.
Yeah.
So we can recognize this position that we've actually have a strong group in the corner now. We can either Tanuki or we can extend from it, and this is enough. Right? Black lost his cornerstone, so this is good enough. And the way that you can decide that, I think by principle, like if you don't know the punishment, the best way you could punish it is either try reading it out, and if you can't read it out, just play solid shape.
Yeah.
So that would be the layers that I would go through.
So something as simple as like what Ed suggested, which is like, hey, I know it'll be bad if I get this Hana here, so I'm just going to extend my stones.
That would be fine too.
Because these cuts are something that black's going to have to deal with, and then I can
Yeah.
go from there.
And then here you just ask yourself whether or not you can play the co.
Yeah.
But if you play this way, we need to make sure that we can fight this. Right? Because otherwise we lose this, right?
Yeah. So obviously it's fun when you're playing games to try to find the best move, but
Yeah.
it's also okay to play a good move.
Yes, it's fine to play a good move. You're probably forced to play the co as like the best move.
Yeah.
But I would say this is fine too, because you've captured the cornerstone and your group is already out.
Yeah.
So I already imagine that maybe they have a stone here. This stone would be like way too close. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. What was the other one?
Can we go over like where was black supposed to go instead of P15?
Black usually has two answers connecting, which you would just have the ladder for this.
Okay.
And usually this is never the move because you usually don't have a ladder because don't play cross Fuseki. And if you play cross Fuseki, no one usually attaches. The normal move is just to play here. So white will extend down, then you connect. And white will play the Atari and take this. Black can play the Atari first and then play this one. Sometimes the attachment works. And the reason that we would do the attachment is, again, the order, I think, doesn't actually matter here.
Is that an even position for white, black?
This one?
Yeah.
Yes.
One way to think about this, remember this was black's corner. And so white came in, and so it does look better for black.
Mm-hmm.
But white now, the idea when you attach usually is this, like you're worried, you're not just approaching because you're worried that black's going to attack you too early, and now white's got a settled position right in that area.
Then you could still technically jump in the corner.
And as our great friend Eric would say, black is +1 here, as in they have an extra move. So you have to take that into account when doing your.
Well,
positions.
if you play the Hane at P13 directly, then black has Sente. If you don't, white has Sente. And this would be black +1. So you're right. The way that you can evaluate this is this looks a lot like the small avalanche.
Sure.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, I've heard that thing multiple times. I refuse to study it.
Yeah, that's fine. Even in this position, I would say this is fine. You're strengthening your group. So if you don't actually add a move and you play elsewhere, black can play a leaning attack, which means you'd be pressed low. So it really depends on whether or not black is building on the top side or not. But black does have like a glaring weakness here, and that's we can play this.
The ladder breaker.
It feels weird, right? Second line, ladder breaker, what are we doing here? But the reality is like once we have stones in this area, taking the ladder stone out means the corner is in trouble, and so is the outside. So he would need to answer at some point, even if it's like this. That just means white went underneath, right? So we also have to consider the Aji in the position. So black is fine. And generally, when black has an extra move, say like here, it's over concentrated. The stone's too close. This wall is technically 5 high. So we'd actually like the stone to be like way out here. Does that make sense?
Is there like a formula you just use to do that? 5 high, and so it's how many spaces?
Well, it should be 6. But at some point, you're too far.
Yeah.
I think this is a healthy number just because there is that weakness.
Okay, do you know the proverb, like if 2 jump 3, if 3 jump 4?
Yeah, but that's. Oh, so it's like the number of stones.
Yes.
It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You got a
It's
wall
n plus
of
1.
n length.
Yeah. So this would count as 5?
Yeah, I'm counting from the second line because technically there would be 2 stones here.
Oh, okay.
And then you have these two stones.
Yeah, I was like, I count. Okay.
See, I think this. I look at this and I'd be like, it's sort of a 4-stone wall, except there's Augians, and then I'd start thinking it's a 3-stone wall, and I'd be like,
You better just go Sunli.
Yeah.
No, if you're gonna coast me, you might as well just capture.
Okay.
All right. The next one I put on the board was just a fun one. Oops. That's not what I want. Was it F2? There you go.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Just because I'm still learning all the terms. When you say Haji, what does that mean in terms of?
So Aji is just potential.
Okay.
That's the literal definition. The way that we use it is that it's potential weaknesses. So the shape has weakness and that we can exploit.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Thank you.
You should replace it with wonkiness.
All right.
Yeah, isn't that more descriptive? Maybe there's a lot of wonkiness here.
This is a tried and true method of teaching people how to use Aji. What do you think the moves are? Strong Q players are excluded.
Now that I know it's a trick question.
I
think I
know
would
the
still get it
answer.
wrong.
You know what?
Are non-players excluded?
I
Yes.
have been told. I've
What
seen
about
this specifically
non-ish
multiple times because people keep doing it to me and they're pieces of shit.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, stop that. So the AI keeps telling me actually to cut, and then I can go to the other one, which is weird to me.
I don't care what the AI says.
Okay, well,
Okay.
my dumb brain wants to go step down. I always go down and try to resolve that thing right away.
Okay. All right. We have S7.
Oh no, sorry, the
17.
the other one.
This one?
Yeah, that
Oh, yeah. That 17's the one. that-
For white, what for
one.
white?
I'm insane. Yeah.
Honey underneath is
Honey is terrible.
a mistake, yeah.
Yes. Honey is bad. Don't do the honey.
I feel like I've done that way too many times.
17 is what I thought was the normal.
I'm going to submit P18.
I don't care.
you're not even getting a letter.
No.
out.
16.
Ragnar's like,
He
can
only
I
said
P16?
somehow.
Yeah, that's what the AI keeps telling me.
Okay.
It's B, but I just keep not doing it.
Fair.
I-
The high key players, not the semi-down.
All right. First of all, if you play this move,
Yes.
there's several things that Black can do. Black will just connect, and if you play this, you actually get a better result than if you just descended. However, Black will Hane, and if you connect, Black will connect, and then if you play this way, Black got a better position.
That's what I did.
If you cut, Black will descend, and now your corner's in trouble, and you need to do some magic like this.
Okay.
This is magic. Black died. However, Black can play this, and you kind of lost a bunch of stuff. We can fight this by extending. But Black can also extend again. And if you keep extending, Black will eventually play here, and who's better?
Depends if the P18 stones die.
Great question. Do they die?
Not for a while.
Well, if white plays M18, or
In 18? I'm just going to play here.
Are we gonna win that catcher race? Yeah, I guess we can win that catcher race.
And then I can probably play this one. And if you block, I'm going to play here. You can extend. I'm going to play this one. Then you can extend again. And then
That does look impressive. Rip.
Yeah, it is.
So, it's,
you might have to block here.
right.
But then I'm going to play this one.
So I can't. Can I block on the other side? With the thought that like
This
one? The problem with that last line is that I didn't take away a liberty,
Yeah, but then Black plays here.
and we've got to just suck up.
Well,
the
let's
state.
let's play this one first,
Okay, yeah.
and then play here.
Okay. And it looks like we probably got to play M18.
If we extend,
What could go wrong?
what could
Wow,
go wrong?
crazy.
Yeah, it's not.
This looks like every game I've ever played.
Yes.
I have
So
to show you what I.
Wait, I
have
didn't read
the
it,
shape
but what
of the game
about
I'm gonna show
instead
you.
of blocking at N18 and 17?
blocking what?
If we keep going,
This one?
no, like go do the and then instead of blocking at N18 and 17, I'm guessing it doesn't work.
You need it.
Like we don't have the Liberty Edition thing.
I'm gonna cut you.
Yeah.
That's rude.
That
I
is
can also
rude.
play here.
Ooh.
Mm.
It's not all bad. You can play here in Sunday, and then you're technically alive in the corner.
Yeah.
But you need to be very careful that you don't play this move. Why? You just played a bulky 5. Now you're dead. So if you want to live, you would have to play this way, and then like this. There are some glaring weaknesses, though, such that we can play this one, and then play here. Right? But the deal is that Black is actually going to connect. And when you play this way, Black will squeeze you so you're low in the corner, and then now Black has a really nice outside. That's the gist of it. So how can we punish this? Well, Black can get that anyways if you descend. They can connect. But this is where the punishment comes in. If you're a Q player, most of the time your opponents are going to think, this is a 3-3 Joseki. So I'm going to block. Now what do you do?
Cut it.
Cut. Do you understand why cut? Do you understand cut?
Yo, yes. Sorry.
Yeah. Just making sure. Throwing you under the bus. The way that this works is no matter what Black does, they're going to lose something. So if they play the Atari and then they fix this, White captures a stone. If Black plays Atari and then descends, well, White can cut. And then we can wedge, and there's no way to escape here. So we lose the 3 stones. Black is in tatters. Same thing here. Even if you play this one, and then we can still capture the stone. You might lose your stones this way, but you might be able to play here as well. I didn't actually look at it, so I don't know. Best guess is just to leave it. And if your opponent Ataris, then you have potential weaknesses here. Should I go over the last 2? Those ones are pretty complicated.
And if they do the right move, it's just gonna go down the normal pathway, right?
Yeah, if they just play this way, it goes down normally.
Yeah. Okay.
But you're correct in the assumption that if you do the Hane first, and then they connect, you actually get a really good result. You've split Black, but don't play this and assume
They're gonna do that.
yeah.
Okay.
So in this case, when they play the right way, later they can play this move.
If they already played one unreasonable Hane, what's going to stop them from doing another?
That's true. Very true.
Hane is turn right
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a turn.
corner.
It's see the stone with the circle on it?
Yes.
That's a Hane.
That's also on it.
And that's a Hane. Okay.
Yep. You could crosscut. I will say, I think Black just Hanes here. And, oops. Black connects. So Black actually has this extra liberty in the corner now because of the Hane stone. And I think you'll find it very difficult to try and capture those stones now because of the extra liberty. And there's also the fact that if you try to live in the corner, well, your outside becomes weaker because now there's a ladder. Does that make sense? So if you just cut directly, you're asking yourself to be beaten up.
I think White would have that ladder unless it was a cross game.
No, that's Black's corner. Oh, White would have the. Okay, yes. All right. The next position is something that happens when someone pincers. 2 space, diagonal here. And this is actually just a White to play. I was hoping to see if you guys know the continuations.
So wait, so Black kicked and White Kasumi? Is that the?
Yes.
That's the normal way to do
This
I
is
didn't know.
Joseki. You can extend up. That's also Joseki.
Okay.
But we're not doing that. Instead,
We don't have to necessarily get in the nuances, but why would you Kosumi instead of just extending up?
More freedom.
Depend on if you want to come, like which direction you're trying to go.
So the Kosumi has the advantage of doing this, and you can make thicker shape. Whereas if you just extend up, yeah, you have a stick, and you can play the same moves, but while the shape looks cleaner, it's also weaker, in my opinion.
Cool. And it's much less straightforward eye shape potential.
Yes. If you want eye shape, you'd probably have to start attaching, and that gets
Teaching
into
ways out of my Joseph.
other grounds. What'd you say, Ragnar?
It says he's teaching him ways out of my Joseki.
Oh, I see.
Because it's a two-space pencil.
Right. You should also know these.
I do.
Good.
Because that's the move that he plays. He plays that two-space jump.
Do we have any moves that you might think are good moves?
Pincer.
Pincer's one? What kind of pincer?
I don't know.
All the pincers.
All the pincers.
What is that? P12.
In 17.
P12 and 17. I'm going to put this on there because I showed you.
Another jump, like M15.
R17.
I'm not putting that on. All right. So I showed you H. All right. Let's go with F. So F is really nice. It's very simple, straightforward. Your opponent's going to back off, and then you can make these exchanges. You can also do these exchanges beforehand, and then you can Tanuki. Or in this case, depending on the board shape, you could even attack black shape, right? The shape is very straightforward. It's strong. It's flexible. That's how I would see it. Whereas if you play this one, you're not really putting pressure on anything. The corner's alive already. Black is probably just going to take a larger extension. So now if you play this one, they can just fix. And you can see that black has gained more than if they just play this one. While if they just extend with a knight's move, you can still pincer this, but it has a lot less pressure. And this move, yeah.
Sorry, Dan. Well, go ahead. I'm going to ask a question.
Yeah. Here, if you play this way, black can also get the chance to play this directly. And this does invite a cut. So you need to be very careful. It's generally better to exchange this directly. There's probably not a time that you wouldn't do this. And then if you play this, it's a lot harder for black to make those exchanges. But if you're going to jump out, it's better to put pressure on a stone so you can have Sente. Because there is a chance. It's very slim, but maybe black won't respond to the right side.
Can my question, actually in that position you were just in, why does white not play P16? Does it feel like you're just
Here?
helping black fix their shape? Because
What
it
does
feels like you're giving yourself an eye.
what does P16 do?
Avoid black playing there and taking away that eye.
Well, it's not eye space actually.
Okay.
If black plays here, you're just going to block. And if they take, you can just play here because the idea is that this is actually probably enough to consider black hurting their own stones. Black only gains about 7 points. Maybe not even 7, maybe just 6 because he has to connect here if it's hurried.
So does this depend on whether white actually has room to run into the center? I guess I don't understand why you wouldn't. Is black not going to respond if you play P16?
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Well, your move needs to follow it. Like if black plays here, you can't cut anything. Maybe you can
Okay,
clamp,
that makes sense. Then.
but then you have to come back and fix anyways.
Okay,
If you fix like this, you have a double cutting point.
gotcha.
If you fix here, now you have a peep, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Your shape.
Yeah, I guess if I was mistakenly thinking black would respond to that.
So when I said that white is flexible, I mean that white is light.
That's fair. Yeah.
These attachment stones can be given up. We don't need to focus too much on 1 or 2 points, right? This is just the tail end. And in this case, like when we play here, obviously we have the code that we can play, but we can give up these stones without worrying about our main structured stones, right? So if black does this, he's probably going to do this with something like this. This is also why we wouldn't play the jump directly either. Black can just take the move that we should have played. The attachment, you can do it. I imagine black is just going to play this way first, and then push up, and then cut. So you can play the attachment when you can fight. Don't play the attachment when you can't fight. Does that make sense? And if you play like this, black already has strength, so they're just going to push and cut. Right, so like black is technically not weaker, but they have less points, so they're definitely going to fight this. So the attachment is more of a last minute thing that you can do. And I didn't say don't fight. I said don't fight if you can't.
Which means don't fight.
Yeah, which means don't fight.
Okay, sure. One move, or we'll just continue. The pincers are all. So I will say most pincers here are going to end up with this type of shape. No matter how far you pincer from this, you're most likely going to play N13. Why? AI said so. It's also it aligns with a lot of ideas. So one, knight's moves in the center are good. Second, we're trying to play light with our shape. So if some of the stones die, that is fine. We just need to gain something from it. And I guess that's really the two ideas. But also you're putting pressure on the two stones, right? We took the base, they jumped. We're now in the direct path of them trying to jump out again, which means we can push them, right? If we connect, now they have to do something with the one stone, and we're stronger on the other side. Yeah.
My reaction when I can kind of foresee that black is kind of going to get this forcing sequence pushing against my stones this way is that the pincer at R10 looks too close. I prefer that my pincering stone is farther away. Is that a reasonable reaction, or is that not the right reaction?
Not the right reaction. So how exactly does black take advantage of the fact that the stone is too close?
I was thinking probably counter pincer.
Yeah, so counter pincer, and then I just play the diagonal. You could also just play here and just give up the stone.
Give up a stone?
I know, right? This is such a foreign idea. Who would do such a thing?
We haven't hit the edge of the board yet. For another stone, you can put it in one point jump in the third.
Right, but you can continue this attack by just playing something like this, right? And then you can connect, or you can play this one. I would not recommend making a one space jump with this type of shape because of this. Potentially, black can just forfeit some stones and connect under.
Yeah, what?
This is a sorry, this is a Tsuji.
That's wild. Okay.
So some people might not understand that. This is what we would call a skilled move or an excellent move, where you can, in this case, you're sacking a stone to connect stones.
Just a heads up, Jay, this lecture's been going on for 50 minutes.
Yeah,
You haven't gotten to the lecture.
I know.
It's alright, you can splice it.
They said they wanted longer, so I'm giving them longer.
Wait,
Okay.
so instead of the one
I
space
just wanted
jump,
to make sure.
You can just continue running.
okay, I see.
This one particularly means that you might get this one. If you one space jump, and they play here, that means the game we're both fighting in an area of Dame.
Mm.
That does mean black does gain something here,
Yeah.
but our gain is that we're fighting.
But
That's really it.
but like, there's something about like, oh, you want to attack for profit, right? Like, and if you're
Yeah.
not,
So you just counter Pincer for profit.
And if it's already black,
So the idea here is that this is technically black side when we do this.
yeah.
Black usually plays this way when it's black side. Sometimes they don't do that. This could also be a white stone too,
Mm.
right? So when we play here, now it's a 3-stone wall with a white stone,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Mm.
So we're attacking 2 weak groups at the same
Yeah.
time.
would it?
You probably don't want to play the close pincer. In this case, you wouldn't want to play the close pincer if this was a black stone.
Hmm.
It wouldn't make sense.
Right, because that's the development of bottom.
Yeah.
Before, if we go back like where the pincer was there. Sorry, no, keep going forward. Instead of the, I can't remember the diagonal jump. If it was black's corner here, down south, can we treat the pincer as an added Joseki move or no? Would that be bad? Like when you get a free Joseki move, they have to respond to it in a sense, on the 1 stone. So like if you do that now, and they have to protect that 1 stone, or they're just not going to protect the 1 stone. And then
They
you
probably won't protect the 1 stone.
They just won't. Okay.
They might even kick you here.
Okay. So quite unhappy.
I don't know. Probably this one, and then
Are we happy though?
I don't know if we're happy here. We're literally fighting.
Yeah.
You're just gonna fight.
Yeah, I don't like happy.
It might be okay. It might not be. It really just depends on the board. There's also black playing this move, but then white can fight the 4 stones here.
Certainly, you have energy idea.
Okay.
Does this make sense to you at all?
Concept, yeah.
So I would say to some extent your pincer matters who's in the bottom right. But this is the main move that the AI will recommend you, and we're just going to go through this. You have a choice of jumping or sliding. I prefer sliding. And then white has a few choices. They can either play here or they can play this one. A lot of the times, players might Tanuki this, and you should really know the follow-up. Follow-up is really simple.
That's painful.
Yeah, it's pretty painful.
Wow.
So in this case, white would actually have to Tanuki, and hopefully you have these exchanges already. So you can just play this way, or you can attach, you can extend, and then fight this. But
Will the S16 Hane, will that always, like, should black always respond to that?
yeah,
So why not just, like, always do it?
yeah, why not?
Why does the AI say play that shoulder hit then instead of first getting that exchange, or is it just doesn't matter the timing?
It doesn't really matter the timing. It's just if you don't do it, you lose out
Okay.
because black can play this.
Yeah. That's,
But the thing is, white doesn't actually have to respond to S15, right? Because maybe there's more important moves on the board. And then the last one, we won't go over that one.
that's the one that I. No, I'm just kidding. That's thanks, Jay. These are all good.
All right. This is me versus pro. We're gonna get into the main content now.
Oh, what's the game yesterday?
I'm not telling you.
Yes.
Can I
Play.
take
I
Who's
didn't
your
watch
friend?
it, so
a 2-minute break?
works out.
Yeah, we can
No,
have we can
absolutely
take
not.
2 minute
It
break.
wasn't yesterday. It was like 2 days ago at like 10 o'clock at night.
Okay.
Who'd you play? Who'd you play?
I will reveal it at the end.
I'm about to show. Look at your OGS.
Look at my OGS.
Yeah. Why did you
It
not
was
play
some
on
9
OGS?
done, bro. That's all I know.
Boo, it's not on your GS.
It's on KGS.
I don't have TKS on my phone.
No, it was on Tiger, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was on Taijo.
Boo. Actually, I should be down my TKS on my phone anyways.
You know, I don't like KGS's. I don't like how it sounds. It sounds really close to kill yourself.
Yes, it does.
Wait, really?
KYS.
KYS.
Guys, we're on
Yeah,
Twitch.
but
It's
that's a
unalive
very-
yourself, okay?
Sorry.
No. Twitch isn't TikTok. You can say it.
Yeah, you can.
You can't say kill yourself on
On TikTok, yeah.
Oh, is that where? That's where.
That's where.
unalive-
That's where the unalive meme came from.
Yeah.
I thought it was just like a. Okay.
I was gonna say,
Are
I
you
said
still
some
looking?
terrible,
No,
horrific
look
things
at
about my
TGS.
opponents. You can say kill
It's not on KGS.
No, I know.
I
But
have called them
I remember
terrorist
I
scum.
said
that.
I was like, I have said that. I was like, I hope they're
And
terrorist scum that get
I
bombed. Fuck
purchased
them.
the app, so
It might not be on the store anymore.
that's what I'm guessing.
Hi, Twitch.
It's kind of upsetting, but.
I presume the microphone's over there. Right?
Is
I'm pretty sure the microphone is his phone.
Oh,
no, it's
Oh,
not.
Panda
it's
that.
a laptop, right?
My laptop.
Good. Yeah, it's like otherwise people couldn't hear you, which would be a problem.
That'd be pretty funny.
That would be
this
the
whole
point.
time.
For them to hear me.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
By the way,
I'd say
I did advertise this stream in pretty much every Go Discord.
Nice.
So we have had 20 plus viewers.
Oh shit.
I was gonna say if you, I mean, the most pleasant quote unquote experience with this is if someone had a question, because I don't think they can really hear them on the laptop audio. Maybe they can. I don't know.
They should be able to hear me clearly.
No, me. Or like someone who's asking a
Oh.
question. Is either one, you always have to reiterate the question, or two, we had a secondary mic that you would have to mute yourself on the laptop whenever they ask the question. We passed on the mic.
Sucks to be them.
I was just telling you what you could do, all right?
Or you could be like me and just be very loud.
Show up or shut up.
It's a good way of putting it. Where did everyone go?
They took the Switch to since they're all waiting and David wanted to see that was the only one that David wanted to see. How about you go over that one with David?
Sorry, I didn't mean to say it was the only one.
It was the one
I
you
do
wanted
think it's
to
a
see the
really.
most.
I think it's an interesting one though.
Yeah.
This is the kind of thing I feel like.
So generally this happens when you Tanuki twice.
Right.
Black gets the pincer, then you don't answer again. Black will play here.
Play that one, right?
This one is interesting in the fact that you play this because you're looking for Aji to explain. So, for example, here, Hane, Atari, extend. Black will play here, and then the follow-up is actually to play this one. And the goal is, like, later in the game, you might be able to get this, and potentially that group might live. But as of right now, it really shouldn't live because of this. So in this case, white should probably play here, then take the windstone. Black will play this one. And we get in this position where there's several cuts, and then we can cut later. And that's kind of how that shape goes.
Wow. Yeah.
Is you're just looking to create cutting points
Like,
and to kill. There are times where black will just fix, and then you can live.
The same as the one above
So
it.
white in this
What's-
position,
yeah,
are they
what's-
saving this for a very specific situation? Like they want to use the Aji?
As
They're not always going to play the
Ladder
same
breakers usually.
sequence, right?
This is a good ladder breaker.
So it's not like at this point white will always dive into this kind of sequence, right? They're only going to do this if there's some specific reason they want to do it.
Usually when you think a fight is coming up and you can cut,
Yeah.
is when you do it. Or you need a ladder breaker at this like specific area. So like playing here
Yeah.
would be a big move.
I guess my question is like, this is if white continues to play here locally, it's a loss, but they're doing it for some bigger reason.
Well, there's sometimes black will play this way. So you're also looking at what Aji is available, because here black is looking to kill white completely. And depending on what Aji is available, you want them to commit. So this one, they commit to just making sure everything is dead. Potentially this one, you let white live small, but you get sent to elsewhere. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess it's kind
Can you
of
shut the door, please?
the timing of when light would do that.
Which door?
No, bathroom.
The bathroom door.
Thanks, Jake.
Yeah, let me.
It is possible. A violent bullying strategy. But in a 5-stone sufficient flash of black, the simple here's what's left.
That book is hilarious.
But here's kind of
All right. We have two options: game 1 or game 2.
Both.
Both.
The
Oh.
one that had the
Oh.
stick that died.
Okay, both. All right, we'll do both.
That was such a silly question.
I mean, people can always peace out and play in the other room if they get tired.
So this is game 1 with the professional.
Would you like a game or
I
Would you like a game or you want more selection?
I'll watch the first. Maybe play.
So in the first game, I had played my move that I researched, and my opponent fell for my trap. I got this, and so I got some good shape here. They also played a really weird exchange, or I played a weird exchange, and then they answered. But the shape is relatively good for me. I probably gained half a point. Hooray!
You're black.
It's the only point you're going to gain.
Nope, I gained more than that.
Okay. You're black or white.
I'm black. You needed
I,
that?
I just for clarification.
Okay.
Playing in
All right.
non-pro.
Yeah.
This game is without Comey.
Mm.
Because she thinks I'm strong enough. So far, like the Joseki choices are pretty abnormal. Usually, we don't see 3 space. We actually see the 2 space, and this would dive into something like this.
No, you cut.
Oh, okay. Katie's a cutter.
You always
Push and cut. And then we would get into this Joseki choice.
I think in this case you should actually play E3 because you have the stone over at N3.
I
It
refuse.
does look nice.
That's just the conventional wisdom of how the Josekis go.
Sure, but you can play this one too
You can.
because I
have
can.
nothing against it. I'd probably play that one too.
Also, in this case, if I'm going to play this Joseki, right, I can play this one.
Oh, you're really upsetting all the cues in this room.
Probably should take first. You just take, connect, push, here, connect, Hane. And they jump,
It's a
I
Seki.
jump.
It's a Seki, guys.
In this case, the position is actually fairly good for black. I think it's an even result, but I'd say the result's pretty good for black because they already have a supporting stone here. It's really good. It's just a Joseki choice.
Yeah.
I don't think in this case the pinwheel Josekis, the push and cut, the direction is it matters less.
The
I'll
push
say
and
that.
cut pinwheel Josekis are fire and forget missiles.
Fire and forget. So in the game she played this one, and obviously she's not going to push and cut in this case because now the stone is too far gone, and black would actually play this way, not that one. I probably connect, and now the corner's in trouble. So here, Eileen, she pushes, and I know for a fact from studying AI and whatnot, pushing again is actually not good.
Like the third time of 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, they always want you to jump
Generally, pushing a third time loses you a full point. So I gained a point, Ragnar. She jumps, and then I play the 3/3 because there's really nothing else to do. I don't want to play something like this because now these stones are actually a lot closer to the corner, but also this stone is a lot further from my wall.
Wait, what's white supposed to do instead of push?
Jump or
Oh.
slide. Sliding is nice here because we don't really care about the side.
Mm.
We don't really need to add a move. The normal follow-up for black would be to lean or to jump out again. But in this case, with the 3 stones, I'd probably just still Tanuki. So if you think about, giving your opponent an extra stone, my 4 stones there are a lot stronger now. So when I Tanuki, I don't actually have to follow up any moves that are like this or this push up because I have that 1 extra stone. And if I need to add another move, I can just do something like this, or I can play here. And I can just make the base and hope for another eye there. It doesn't always go to plan. My opponent also has a plan of her own. Are you guys familiar with this? So we get into the 3/3, and I am inviting the flying knife by attaching. I don't have to play the flying knife. If you want to dodge the flying knife and you get into this position, just cut on the outside. It's that simple. Although in this case, I didn't really read the ladder, but I'm pretty sure I have it. Yeah, I have the ladder. So she can't really play that one. She would have to play on the outside or play something like this. And then I could take the 1 stone, or she can fix, and then I can push. Probably extend as well. Connect is fine. Since she doesn't have the ladder, she can't really play this one either. Probably needs to jump, and then later I have some forcing moves. So the reason we play this now is if later in the game our opponent might just give up 2 stones. And in the opening, this wouldn't be a good idea. Because now we don't have to respond to this move. But I'm a daredevil. I like to challenge my opponents. And I certainly did. But my opponent played here. So the idea with this one is we're going to play here, extend, and we're trying to fight this out. We can connect, and we're looking to maybe not that. We can play this one once, and then connect, and we're looking to fight this. This ladder should work. Why doesn't it work? Why isn't the ladder working? I can just do this immediately. Yeah. We can just do this immediately. So now if white tries to go for the kill, we attack the 3 stones as they play here. One side gets wrecked, the other one doesn't. So this is why you don't play the empty triangle to try to break the ladder. If you just connect, now this ladder works for black. So the reason why I tried really hard to break that ladder was, save the 3 stones, right? But now in this case, we suffer here. And white can try this, but we Tari and then turn, and then white loses everything. Does that make sense? Very painful. So normal sequence is we play this one, we extend down, and then we get this shape. And then a nice move. And the reason she probably didn't go for this one is probably because I have a large Kama on the top side. So the direction is not very valuable for white, especially in the fact that I can also jump here where I can play a nice move. And this is up to here. This is Joseki. But the direction isn't good for white. It's still an even game, but I would say black has a slight advantage. Well, a major advantage if you consider no Komi. So in the game, she actually changed direction by taking the one stone. Now, if I try doing the ladder stuff, it no longer works. She can turn, or she can push. But the scary thing is that my inside stones are dying. They don't have eyes. So the best solution is to extend the ice base and then receive punishment for not realizing there's another variation. It's still an even game, don't get me wrong. Still even. Nothing wrong with that. Settled, push, white jumped. And this is probably the first like major mistake of the game. It wasn't done by the amateur, it was done by the professional. The reason this move is not that great is because black has an excellent move. And this is kind of where, as Q players, this is what you should look for, and you should really stop worrying about your cutting stones. For anyone who wants to know what was said, there's a guy in the corner that said Tengen. Tengen is
Wow, that's so
the
good.
answer. No, it's not.
I thought it was going to be for a second.
No, the answer here is just to play the pincer. And the idea is once they've played this, we can play here. The whole idea of this position is we're reducing white's influence, but also white has not been able to significantly capture these cutting stones yet. So they have a valuable part in this game still. If they were to take a liberty, that's when you would want to jump. Now we jump out, and this would turn into a fight. Does that make sense? You can also consider pushing up here as well. But if you make this extension first, white gets the first move on the right side. So we want to press our opponent down first before we jump out. You also may want to jump out here too. This is also fine because now we're getting territory on the top side. So you can consider all those options. If you just defend first, what happens? Exactly. White settles on top. If white had played here, they definitely would have been settled. But their base is too tight. There's not a lot of territory in there. There's also not a lot of room to do any advantageous stuff in the corner. So when we consider making the base, we want to make a base in a way that gives us an advantage later in the game. So we play from the furthest edge, but we don't attach because we don't want to give our opponent unnecessary strength in the corner. Does that make sense? Okay. So here's a question for you. How should black respond to this move?
Attach.
Attach?
Can I just extend?
Where do I attach?
L17.
L17. What did you say, David?
Extend on the right side?
What if we murdered everything?
Extend on the right side,
Yeah, I was going to say, I would just move you over there somewhere.
like here?
Yeah.
I like K14.
K14.
So wherever they play, you play somewhere.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Interesting.
I'm tempted by something like
I will,
N15.
and
The idea that it makes the Aji on the top more uncomfortable.
Okay.
And then the extension of D looks really exciting.
I don't think I feel I don't need to do anything to the top stones. I can still live with them, so it's more urgent to have my group in the center be fine.
That's fair.
Q. Yeah, Q9 would be an AI move. Yeah.
Like if I wanted to help the stones in the top right, I'd probably bump or Kosumi.
I will say this is a good move. So you can extend, and the idea is we're trying to fight this. However, we no longer get to push here for fun because we can't cut through. So when we play like this and then connect under, we can then play this one, and then we threaten to capture the stones. So that would be good. Potentially, white might give it up, or just not respond, because if we do respond, we give black the one move here. White would probably start trying to attack these stones directly. But this is an option that you can play. I don't think it's wrong. I will just say that this is the AI move. It literally just wants to press white down. So if we jump out, we get this nice shape in the center. If white plays here, we can jump out or we can slide. And we just kind of made white too thick here, so they're over concentrated. D is an interesting idea, but my problem specifically with this shape is they can play here or they can play this move, and you're giving them. I think you've given them too much without actually solving an issue here. So yeah, you can come back to the right side by playing here, but white can press down on this and slowly surround this group while making this as small as possible. There's also the fact that this also doesn't just protect the corner either.
Right.
So I can always just jump in directly.
You can't do that.
That's
black-
rude,
That's
yeah.
black score.
I hear that a lot from Q players. Like, you can't do that, and then the Dawn player does it anyway.
That's all black's territory.
It's
You
called
can't
Dawn
jump in
Magic.
there.
Oh, it's Dawn Magic? I don't think so.
You can't do that, doesn't it?
Okay.
So what about C?
C is an okay move. It's okay just because it protects the center group. But it does entice white to just protect their own group. Right? If white were to just leave it alone, well, now we can play stuff like this. And now white is actually kind of forced to play this way. And if they run out before protecting, well, maybe white will play here first. Whoops. Force this capture, and then descend, and then descend again. So white is forcing us to capture the stones, but they're going to capture 3 stones here too. It's pretty wild.
Doesn't seem so bad.
Huh?
That doesn't seem so bad for white.
It may not seem so bad for white, but now the center is broken. And black always has the opportunity of coming back and fixing. This is actually really good for black.
Real. Okay. Interesting.
Yes, where's white's territory?
You also lost 4 stones, right? So black gained extra points in the corner.
That's true.
And then
But like white, it felt like, well, I guess white ends good there as well.
I'll say, depending on how you play this, right? Like if I just extend here, you're kind of forced to capture, right?
Okay.
If you play here,
I was thinking white got this big move on the left, and black had already played K14, so the stones in the middle were going to be really hard to attack anyway.
maybe, but this one is going to be a co.
Yeah. Okay.
Hard
So-
to attack still means it can be attacked.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of potential, and I want you guys to remember this shape here, right?
That's important.
It is important later.
Okay. I think like in other games, like I don't
Yeah, me too.
Specifically, this Atari is very important.
Yeah.
Oh.
If you play this, Josefi, which you won't, it's very important.
Yeah. So we Tanuki, but hey, does anyone have an idea of how to attack white? We don't need to Tanuki. We can just attack white directly.
Ooh.
Maybe make an exchange first, right? If they play like this, how do we attack white?
We get rid of the monsters in defense position.
Mm.
Yes, I play Dark Hole.
Now we can attack him directly.
J17
What are we trying to attack?
J17.
White.
or kill.
The weak white group. That's what we're trying to attack.
To what end?
To what end? To death.
The top white group is what we're talking about?
The weak white.
I just don't feel. I guess my brain is just like, I don't.
I feel like there's
What,
bigger things to
what
do.
does chat say?
Let's find out.
I feel like there's bigger things to do, right?
Chat
There's-
hasn't mentioned
there
it
isn't.
in a while.
There isn't really.
No, there isn't.
Chat hasn't said anything since Ed said something.
Sad. Anyways, moving on. Do you guys have no idea?
I mean, I'm tempted by J18.
J18.
K17.
You have
also
failed.
forcing? Okay. So I can't connect under at this point.
Sure. I will allow you to connect under. Maybe I will play the Atari first. Do I need to play the Atari? Yeah. But everything is now a forcing move.
I see.
But-
I was scooping out the ice cream.
But why would I do that when I can just play here? And then play this one. And now if you play this,
A little annoying.
Yeah.
yeah. There's also the fact that you can force this too and then just play here. Now I have more ice space.
How stupid is the
Finch.
The wedge? Pretty stupid.
Okay.
Just a tar just a
Well, like
tar.
the other wedge, but yeah.
The other wedge.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah.
I just go down.
Okay. Life is depressing.
Yeah. So the attack is actually this one. And then we play this magical move, L18.
Mm-hmm.
If the opponent tries to stop us from connecting under, we are going to play this move.
Chat says I disagree with everything Jay says, which is the norm.
I'll fight you.
In the street.
Is that Eric? That was probably
It's
Eric.
not. It's Alethea.
I don't know who that is. So we look at the shape. We're still trying to cut. And if we block, well, bam. Why die? Why dies? So
It's street play.
Tyler, I looked at this game with AI. Shove it. And then we get to capture the stones, which is really nice. So one thing white can do to make the whole sequence sente is white can force this, and then when they play away,
You need better AI.
okay. We don't play that one. We can now play the Atari first. They take, then we descend, Atari, and then we descend again. And white's actually pretty happy about this. So
Because you've injured
the follow-up would probably be the attachment.
Wait, so if white's happy about this, why would black do this?
Because it's a forcing sequence. White's forced to do this.
white's forced.
So
to do
let
something
me
they're
rephrase
happy
this.
with?
Both players are happy.
Okay.
It's not white is advantage.
Okay.
It's an even game.
Okay, gotcha.
Because white's happy that they played N17. Now they can focus on the corner. Right? White's going to get sente from this, but black broke the center.
Yeah.
White has the advantage of playing in the corner now. Does that make sense? This is a
It does.
AI sequence.
Compared to the other line, white is much more alive.
What?
That is what street play says.
Yes. White is much more alive here. I agree.
This is
Also-
interesting though.
Also, Ed said for a mere measly $20, I will bonk him for you. I responded with check your cash app.
Yeah.
That's what you played instead, though, man. You would attack the other corner.
Yeah, I took the corner points here. It's honestly rather small if you in the grand scheme of things. You would actually like to take away this space because there is some Maji here. So like in this case, I probably do not want to save this corner. I also may want to leave this for a co later. There's a chance they might play this one, but if they play here, I'm just going to take the stone here. So you can play this one and then play the co. And this leaves a way for me to attack severely on the top side. Because a lot of this, although this position specifically, after this move, it's not sent anymore. But I can use a regular position as co-threats, which would be good. So if I get 2 moves here, I have a good advantage, such as this.
It's not relative to the game, so I'm not reading it out, but chat's really hilarious right now.
Okay. I'm going to ban you guys.
I know. Tim.
Don't ban me. I'm your first ever subscriber.
So I took the largest position on the right side. I defended my corner, probably not the best way possible, especially since white can still invade here. White extends, I extend, white plays here. I make this detachment. So at this point, we're just making exchanges, and it's possible that M13 just isn't a good move here. But we do need to play a move with this group. If we simply play a jump, that later in the game leaves a peep. The shape isn't as flexible either. But with the knight's move, even if our opponent plays here, we can make a double table shape. That's pretty nice. We can also counterattack this because we can play lightly with some stones. So I felt like this move wasn't terrible, but
Is the reason why you looked at me weird because the move I suggested was the game move?
Yes,
I
it
didn't
was.
know that.
I know because I didn't show you this game. But obviously, like this peep here has been like there forever, even after all these moves have been exchanged. I just never did it. Oops, that's not the game. So eventually she fixed, and now the peep move is very different because she can play this one. And if I just play this one, she's going to push and cut my shape, which changes a lot.
What about K11 for shape?
K11. You can, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't the blue move. I'm assuming that was a chat
Yes,
club.
that was straight blue.
Yeah, K11 wasn't a blue move. Nice try. Blue move is mostly going to be just attacking this, but K11 is possible. I still think you need to worry about this. I preferred this one just because it felt more flexible. Like even if I play K11, in all honesty, like white played this move, but black has severe attachments here. Like this is a severe attachment. We can play the Atari, so we can gain a bamboo. In the grand scheme of things, like this area has weaknesses that we can use to avoid to do something with. But I think the theme of this game is like just don't assume your opponent's alive. There's some severe weaknesses here, and if they make this exchange now, they need to come back and fix. And now our group is even stronger that we can.
The KBA have issued a new rule that you have to check your opponent's pulse after every move.
Okay.
Don't assume they're alive.
That's so bad. That is so bad. She defends, and so I'm assuming like all the Augie is gone, which isn't good. I made an exchange, and what I was reading here is if she plays like this, we actually like the idea of playing this way. And the goal is not to protect the corner. The goal is actually to attack the one stone. However, when I thought about it in the game, there's this glaring white stone in the middle of my framework that doesn't help me.
But corner side center.
In this case, like white still has to add a move in order for it to be very effective. Like if I get a move, I can just play a Kosume here that protects both the cut and some of the corner.
Apparently, the blue move was D9.
Yeah, I know what the blue move is.
Okay.
Don't
I'm just mentioning chat.
Tyler, stop ruining the lecture. But this isn't about what AI would play.
How did P6 get on the board? What an unusual looking stone from Prince Lena.
It's a great move that I played, and you'll learn about it in the next lecture maybe. So in this case, I realized mistake, and I did think about some advice from friends, as that when things go rough, I like to make it rougher. So
That doesn't
and
sound.
watch it, buddy. So instead of like diving into this position and trying to make something out of it, I decided that it'd be better to play elsewhere, and potentially that Aji would come up later. So she pushed, I jumped, and then we get into this position where I thought too hard. You don't need to think too hard, guys. This is not a difficult position to read. And
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So clear.
Yeah.
You're so right.
this is kind of where like knowing your shapes is very important. So normally when you play this type of thing, we get into this position, and then white would already have this. So normally white would Hane, black Hanes, and then white plays this one, Atari, and then white would play here. This would be the normal way of playing it because there wouldn't be this extra stone. But with the extra stone, white doesn't have to Hane anymore, and we get into this position where they get this extra move. However, this is still a threatening move. And this threatens to capture the stones, so when white captures, we actually have a good corner shape here. And then we can go back to playing the blue move, D9. Other moves you can play that I was thinking about is we can just play this one to threaten the base of the white group. How does that work? Well, if white plays here, we're looking to push here and then extend. White connects, we connect, and then you can see that white is sealed, and white is. I'm just gonna say that group's dead. Great.
I can make it live.
I'm sure you could. We don't want to push now because we're basically giving up a free liberty. There's no reason to do that. And then we can play something like this. And then they need to come out. To which we can respond with a move here, or we can respond with a move here. And no matter what they play next, if they don't play locally, we're going to play this move.
Question from chat.
Yeah.
Not worried about the large knight to the center stones?
Nope. So the floating stones in the center are going to be self-sufficient. If you worry too much about the center stones, then you're not focused on trying to win the game. So, like, the legitimate question, like, if you connect the stones, what do you gain? What do you gain by connecting these stones?
The main thing is that white doesn't have a target to profit from, but it doesn't look like they could profit from attacking it.
Exactly. And in this case, the only way that they can attack these stones and profit is if they had
Something to build in the center.
they had something already in the center.
Yeah.
And the thing about like profiting from this specifically is white still has to be wary about the cutting points here. There is some wacky stuff like this that could happen, but black is probably not going to do that immediately and just reduce from this side. There's also the fact that this is forcing. And you can always make the bamboo shape and potentially try to make an eye here locally. So there's half an eye right there, right?
Chat says what you get from helping the center stones is not having them attacked.
White can't attack those stones profitably.
And also, you could kill their corner right now.
So I, being the pessimistic player that I am, looked at this position and said, "There's no way I can fight this and give up these stones." So I'm going to attack this group immediately, and I did it in the worst way possible, as I pushed and peeped. I gave up a liberty for no reason. And we got into this position. There we go. And she came here. So here's another good shape move. Black to play. So I didn't.
Sorry.
Huh?
B4.
B4. Okay, B4. So take a look at black shape. Consider what black shape is. How do you fix it? B2.
C4 offer a sacrifice.
You said C4?
Say C4? Yeah, C4.
I'm going to say that's probably the only move you can play. Let's start with B. That's the game move. You can get punished severely by something as simple as this. If we try to cut the shape, we get cut. And if we take, we lose the cornerstones. That would be horrible. If you just defend, white can defend as well. If you try taking this, I think white's happy to play the Atari and then connect. And the 4 stones are like eaten, right? So that's what could have happened, or that's actually what happened. A has similar issues. White can play this way. And although you can technically come out on top like this, you do have a cut that can be peeped. If you block this way, you give another peep. And if you play this one, you give a peep. You're forced to connect. So you give white a nice sliding move. But also, you haven't really connected the 4 stones. White can always cut through here. The best move is just to play this one. And when they play here, you can fix, and then there's potential agi here. So for example, if white comes back and eats 1 stone, if we play this way, we can threaten to surround white. So what we're doing, if they come out, we're going to play this one. And if they connect, we're looking to just eat these stones here. Probably with a wedge first. If we try to be aggressive here, we get into a double Atari. And if we connect, our corner group is starting to look into trouble. Okay, so after this, we can just cut. We leave it alone. But there's still potential issues. For example, like this. So we need to be careful we don't get into a large-scale fight. The stones. There's also the fact that white can just protect like this. And at this point, if they honey here, we may just want to give up the 4 stones, but we actually profit with taking these stones. So it might be a good idea now to play here. But in this case, in the game, I never made the exchanges in the top right. So black probably lost a lot of points here already. If black had made those exchanges before attacking on the bottom, then the game would be even. But black connects. White takes this point. Black plays the best move. So now Black has Sente. They've taken a large area. We've added a stone that we can now reduce the left side. We've taken some points on the bottom. We lost our 4 stones. I wouldn't want to bring those out. They're not very worthy of bringing out. We do have a group in the center that is floating for no good reason. And we still have a move to come back to. So, with all that information, what do you play?
Play the $1 million turn.
I mean, I imagine when you're
This
still
turn?
supposed to resolve to get a top right.
Resolve the top right.
Yeah. If it was resolvable before, you should still resolve it, right?
I actually want F12, I think it is.
F12. The attachment?
Yeah.
Attachment would be good now.
I feel like what's happened on the bottom has like made life a little harder for the floating black group, just because it's less clear less clear that it's going to have easy things to run to towards the bottom. If it comes to that,
Yeah.
so I'm more inclined to help that group than to play on the upper right.
Street Play says, let me know when you need to defend the top group.
Let me know when you need to defend the top group. Yeah, so you defend the center group for black by playing in the corner. So you need to resolve the position in order to actually help the center group. If you let white play there first, so for example, we get into this position, the stones might get hurt, but when white plays this, right, your center group no longer actually has a good position to run to, so they now need to start fighting. And you can start attacking these 2 stones, but in order to do that, you need to save the cutting stone. Now they're looking to connect up, and we still have a group that's floating in the center. So the best move is actually just come back to the corner. I didn't do that.
Fair enough.
Who needs to save the corner when you can lose the game?
Woohoo.
I started this fight immediately. I just overestimated or underestimated the value of extending the 1 stone and sacrificing 2 stones. So here I was thinking I'm behind after losing my 4 stones. I'm not really gaining anything in the center of these stones, so I can't really play from them right now. So I start this fight. And I was reading, and I was like, I can play this way. And I can play a cow. So my target is actually this 1 stone. So I can make pulling out the 16 stones larger. Because my goal here was if we play like this, and then they play here, I wasn't going to actually push and cut. I was actually going to fight this. And if like this, potentially I can give these stones up. White still needs to add more moves in order to actually capture these. Otherwise, if white Tanukis this for any reason, I can always threaten to live in the corner. Well, maybe not live. Maybe live is an exaggeration, but if I have to live by adding another stone, it's pretty pitiful. But you can see that now the top side is a lot weaker comparatively. That's why we wouldn't add a stone immediately. But the top side is weaker now. We have stones that are surrounding it, while white is forced to have gone for the corner. So this is actually my plan in the game, because I wanted to play this way. However, my opponent is a pro. They counterattack. The shape weakness. It hurts. Why does this move hurt? And particularly at this point.
Because they have a wall and you're undercut with S5.
Maybe. I'm looking more of a technical look. So I need you guys to clean your clogs and start making them wheel.
They can wheel. Mm,
Maybe they're gonna win the whole entire fucking corner. I don't know.
They're going to win the whole corner.
Yeah,
It's a great observation.
yeah, I know.
Does this move surprise you? No?
Not particularly.
should it? Should I not see this?
You saw this?
I don't know.
Oh,
It
I
just
mean,
feels like something someone would do.
Yeah.
So the reason that this works is
That gasp. That's Chad.
yeah. We are actually, so in this case, we probably do not want to take the one stone, and we want to play this way because now we can come back, and this is a game that can still be played. There's a co on the bottom. That's fine.
When you say this is a game that can still be played, what is the frame of reference for score?
Within 6 points.
Okay.
This is also within 6 points, but it's even more dangerous. And the game will show you why. So she plays the Atari first. Like, she made me respond. I play the Atari. She then cross cuts, and I take the one stone. You descend. So
What can just connect at the end of that sequence according to street play?
I don't know. Sure. Yeah, White can connect. They can also play the go because they have a lot of go threats. Now we play the go. However, this move is game ending. So White kind of made a mistake here. The Atari was about a 3-point mistake. But the corner is technically not alive. So there's some trade that can happen here. But when Black takes, it's minus. This is probably minus 4 points. So it went back to like between 6 points. But how do you punish Black? We took way too early. This is a shape move. You guys should be like acutely aware of these types of shapes.
I want S3. Is that
S3, T3. Think about Black shapes.
The square hole.
That's right.
the what? Square.
He said square hole.
That's right, so it goes in the square hole.
He's making a reference to a viral video.
Are we at all worried about Black's shape after they win the co?
S1.
How many groups are surrounding the corner?
3.
Yes.
Wait, no, 2. Wait.
I said surrounding, but I mean, how many groups are in the bottom right? For Black.
Oh,
For
3.
Black?
For Black.
Roughly 3.
Yeah.
Roughly 3. No, there is 3. Not roughly 3.
You can argue that the
And
score.
they're all 3 weak.
There's not 4.
Right?
I'm not counting P6 as a separate stone. I'm not counting G4 because it's in the wrong corner.
Would you take like T6?
T6? No. That would mean the co is successful.
Street play argues that there are 5.
Street play, do you want a lecture or not?
I like S1.
As White? That's wild.
So can we go after the whatever it is L2 group instead?
Okay, now you're speaking my language.
Um,
Pretty sure
Can you
it's
get-
our language.
can you get M4 and Sente? Is that worthwhile? Can you wedge?
N4 Incente.
Otherwise, you have this cut, which seems like it's going to make the group alive. I was thinking.
What's the
M4
quickest way to live?
For who?
For who?
For Black.
to play M4? to capture the. So you're gonna you're gonna capture the L3 stone, right? That seems like the quickest thing left.
How would you capture the
Playing
M3 stone?
L4.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I was suggesting M4
Yeah. Not
to fix that cut and also threaten to cut through at N4.
L4 fixes the cut too.
Right, but it's not threatening to cut through, which then makes it impossible for people to run away. Which seems good.
I mean, if you play here and then you try doing this, it's a double Atari.
Sorry, M4 was my proposed first move for white. So you're peeping at N4, and you're also fixing your cut. And then because the group's undercut, at M3 doesn't
You're
fix
giving
it.
your opponent a free move.
Okay. But I thought now the group is going to have to run to live, and now you can come back and kill the corner.
Okay, clearly this is an advanced shape that people are having trouble with. So the reason that taking the co right now is a critical mistake.
That might be a bamboo.
What?
That might be a bamboo joint.
You just connect, and all of a sudden, where are black dies? Black needs to fix this, so even though we have this shape right, we're probably not worried about it right now because we have some things that we can do, right? But it doesn't completely work. I can't go back because KGS is old and doesn't use arrow keys. The issue with like wedging now is that black isn't going to play that Atari. They're going to play on this side and then play here. So we can capture these stones, but it comes at a cost. Well, first white's going to separate the stones, play here, descend, and then connect. In this case, white probably won't try taking these stones directly, and they'll just play here. This is actually I'm going to say it's a somewhat successful because you just gave up 4 stones for no reason, and then you ended in Gote to play here. Maybe you take the ko back, right? But you didn't have to give up the 4 stones. So what do you play instead? Well, we took a critical move from black. We don't have to play the wedge immediately. You can just take the ko back now. So you took a critical move from black, you used it as a ko threat, and then you took the ko back. So the reason that taking the L4 stone is so important is it makes 2 groups alive at the same time. If we play here, we can just give up the corner. The other reason is we can cut the outside. So if we cut the outside, then we don't have to worry about our 3 stones here, and we can focus on playing a game that we can play. The other reason is if white connects for whatever reason, and they don't fix the shape, say they come back here, black can do this. Force the shape and then connect. Why is that important?
You can set up a ko.
Yeah, it's not the greatest ko, but it is a ko that would probably end up happening at the end of the game. You can probably even make this exchange first so that they don't magically get an eye there. But this puts black in a very good position where white eventually has to play this ko. And it's akin to basically a 10,000 year ko. And this position specifically is probably within 5 points, 6 points still. But when black takes instead, white connects, black plays. So this move is also egregiously terrible. If we're going to play a move, we should just play stuff like this. We really want to focus on playing on the outside. You can just fix it.
What was that noise?
Something fell.
trying to fix the glare. There's a glare on the TV.
Darn, it was getting so bright in here. And now it's not.
Well, it's sundown. I have to go home.
I see. At this point, when black plays this move and then cuts, it's white plus 20.
Oh,
So in the course of three moves, black lost an extra 12 to 15 points.
Which moves was the worst one?
This one.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a critical move, followed up by a terrible move. Because one move lets you live, the other one, like you kind of need to run out, and you can't really play the ko anymore. Whereas just living with a simple stone here is better than nothing. At this point, this is just to make it look pretty, but the game
Asks if it's a 6-move approach ko.
yes, Eric or Tyler, yes it is. All right, let's move on to the more fun game, the game that I had a chance in. This one I play more normal. I also play a little bit more seriously. More seriously, as in like I'm not playing any strange moves. So you play some fairly normal stuff. This time I have the game laid out, and I wanted to go over like specific points in it. Out of all these corner moves that could be played, which one would you play?
as white.
Yes, as white.
Not D.
I could probably play C.
Not D. Okay. You play C.
I think so. I don't really like answers.
I would definitely play A.
So if you would play A, you're a fairly normal player, and you would play a normal opening that happens on one side of the board. That's fairly normal. If you play C, that's also fine. I imagine that the position would end up looking like this, and this would be another game. This is perfectly fine too. You can double approach, you can pincer if you're really aggressive, right? But the goal is to play well. Sometimes players could play like this, but the length from these stones is too far, and then you also potentially have. Well, first I can lean down on this stuff. So the normal move, or the mostly AI recommended move, is to just play the 2-space because it's a strong extension from the black stones. And that is a principle that you can apply to this specific shape in almost any position, that the 2-space high is going to be the move that you want to play.
I was thinking the 2-space low.
The 2-space low,
Yeah.
that is also possible. It's just your low, right? Maybe if white already had a stone. If white already had a stone, then maybe 2-space low. So if you play A, C, you're fine. If you play D, it's a little weird. First of all, it can just return to Joseki, but also black has the option of just playing this way, and then you're kind of covered on both sides, right? So you tricked yourself into giving black some good influence. My opponent played B. B isn't often seen, so both players made some mistakes. So you play the Atari. So I remember specifically when I was playing this Joseki that sometimes the Atari exchange is made, so both players would take, and then I imagine that she would have pincered. But why would this not be good? What would be the issue here?
You don't have a base.
Who?
You.
The D14 stones, I assume.
Well, I was being very vague. I didn't say who it was bad for.
I feel like the black stones at the top can still easily scurry away.
Yes,
So like it doesn't really matter what you're doing with that attack against white.
exactly. So this is actually a position that is slightly better for black. Why?
Well, it started out as white's corner. Now black has like a thick group with territory in that corner.
It did, but it's 1-1. They both captured a stone. White has Sente. So what's the issue?
Can black pincer or something?
It's really the yes, black and pincer. The big thing here is that white has to play a stone that's a lot closer to their Panuki, while the position of the Panuki is in the corner and to the side, while white's is to the side and towards the center. But it's also towards like black stones, right? You can steal the base, but those stones can run. Even if you try to be very severe about it, black is happy to just give you points here. And I would say this is slightly overconcentrated. White would like to play a lot more thickly here by able to like make more of the influence that they got from it. The other thing is black's Panuki is actually in a really good position on the bottom side, where black is actually probably going to ignore this and pincer, as you said. So black has a slight advantage due to the fact that white really doesn't want to play another move on the left. You have a question?
No, I was just thinking. I know Panuki's facing the center are generally more useful than to the edge, but I understand why it's not the case in this case.
It's still useful, not as useful as usual.
Yeah.
So in this case, the normal sequence is we just connect, and then white would need to fix somehow. Normally like this, we get to push, and we can probably push a few times, and then Atari, or push once and then Atari. And this would be a proper sequence. And then we probably wouldn't want to extend this way. It'd be a little bit too close to the wall. We might want to do one further or just pincer directly. In the game, the order is different. And black played the Atari first and then connected. We forced the sequence, and no one made this exchange. It's a very valuable exchange. Normally, when the position doesn't look like this, this push here for white is very severe. So the follow-up would be to poke the eye space here. If they connect, then white has made this group look really dumb. You don't need to protect immediately, but you would definitely need to add a move. So if white gets another one, they get to press you even further, and that looks really bad. So this is a move that white could have played, but in this particular game, I don't think black is going to respond, and they're just going to pincer. So in this case, by the time they do get to come here, black already made the extension and then gets to play another move on top of the white. So here, white focuses on playing white focuses on the corner, and we get to attach. So there's several options that you can play here. Are you guys familiar with 4/4 Josekis at all? Katie, would you like to give it a shot? What would you play here?
R4.
R4. That is a move we can play. If you're familiar with older patterns, they thought that wedging here was good. It'd push, and eventually we would need to come back and fix or pincer. If you left it like this, that would mean that white would get the corner points, and then you would get a thick wall. And if you protected, the question is, how do you protect here? If you play here, you give the chance for white to to play this and then try to make a base elsewhere. So this situation just looks bad, and we got this perspective from many pros, and then it was confirmed by AI. Nowadays, we play the honey underneath, and we follow up with a connect, and then this is where you have choices of black. You can connect here, and you can pincer, and this turns into a fight. You wouldn't do this as white simply because there's a stone here at L3, so it's not as viable. So you'd play something like this, and then you would fight it out, or you would play a one space jump, and this would turn into a different game. The next one that could happen is you can play this, and white is going to push. We connect, Tiger's Mouth, Atari connect here, and then play here. And like this, white gets the corner, black gets the side, and white gets Sente, so potentially white could play here. And this would be painful. Like, this would be a good choice for white to play. Can you see how when you leave things, so Joseki choice matters, and if you just leave out a move, later, like if white gets Sente and they finish and we don't play D7, it becomes a very good move for white. As I said earlier, if we just leave it, then white gets to peep, and then all the framework that we had on the bottom can no longer grow, and white is happy to take advantage of that. However, in the game, the pro played this move, which follows by this one. This is fairly normal, and in this particular position, we consider this Joseki, and I use air quotes, as better for black. And the biggest reason is if we just play away, there is this approach which is Sente. And again, if we ignore again for some reason, we can play this move. White will get cut. If you connect, white is now practically eyeless. They have one eye. And then this group is going to be running forever. Maybe not forever, but do you get my point here? So like black has a really good follow-up here that white needs to fix. And once they play here, black can then go back to responding to wherever white played. White knows that, and so they played here. And if anyone knows about two-space jumps have some weaknesses. You don't know about two-space jumps?
One space only.
One space only. All right. So I push. I finally get the push because it's now a big move, right? And mostly, I probably would have never played the push if my opponent didn't play this, because I never thought about it, and I was like, wait a minute, my group looks a little suspicious. So I push, my opponent follows, and then I get the large move. This move is 1 point off from the blue move. The blue move is here. It's really interesting. I don't know why, but it is. So white approaches, and we pincer. Why pincer?
So we have an avenue for 3 stones, maybe.
Better direction.
Better direction, avenue for the 3 stones.
Well, I think like as you're fighting the white group descending
Yeah.
towards the center, you can use that to build your group on the right. As
Yeah.
opposed to a kick doesn't create that opportunity.
It's possible. Or it just might be a trick question and the pincer is really bad.
I feel like if you don't pincer when white has the F17 stone, follow up for white like K16, it feels like those stones are going to be almost impossible to attack, and then when white plays some extension on the left, the black 3 stones are going to be a little weaker. Because white is stronger on the top, black 3 stones seem like they're closer to being surrounded.
We can narrow that down, and we can say specifically why the pincer is bad. F17 is on the third line, and so is N17. So the top side is not going to grow. First of all, it's too low. The second reason is there's just why when you pincer something, what's the reason? Why do you pincer? Remove ice space is one, yeah. Huh?
To make it run.
To make it run, sure. A pincer allows you to change directions. Black doesn't need to change direction here. All the points that we need and want in this game are on the right side. Literally. So Eric pointed this out. You can just play here, right? You could also just play this one too. And this is a somewhat of a Joseki that you can play. Sometimes you'll bamboo, sometimes you'll play this one. It really just depends. But sliding would be the most simple move to play. Attaching reinforces the idea that the right side is going to be the biggest area. But when you pincer, you actually force your opponent into the direction that you want to build. So this is a small but a opening miscalculation. My idea, which I do this often, and it's bad, and it only works sometimes. I mean, it only works sometimes, guys. When you pincer, sometimes you get the opportunity to play a move on the right side to make it bigger, to solidify it. But in this case, if you do that, well, let's say white gets to slide, we answer, and then bam. Our stone is, it's cramped. That, and we're going to be allowing our opponent to slide forever. Right? So we just gave our opponent a wall, and they're going to ignore that slide and start attacking us, right? So as black, we can no longer play that idea. We have to respond locally. We have to do something here. Then our opponent peeped. What do you guys know about 2 space jumps and 1 space peeps?
You're even the idiot next.
Yes.
Let's see.
Sometimes. Kick.
Okay, can you play like P17 and like cut off that stone?
Good. Yeah, that's great. We can play there. We can play this one. We can play here. Kicking is probably not an option because we're being peeps, so we need to answer directly. So I'm going to go over the best move. That's correct.
Well, nice.
The reason this is the best move is if the opponent plays like this, we can sacrifice the stone. You can play the Atari first. You can play here, take, Atari, and then connect. And look at that.
Wow.
The right side is ginormous.
That is,
White got the corner, but they're basically on second line territory, right? So that feels really nice. This is very similar. If the opponent Hanes, we can just come back and connect. We can Atari and then play here. And this reverts back to the other position where we get this shape. That feels really nice. If the opponent tries to resist, we Hane, turn, we're going to fix. And if they play, they'll probably play this. Whoops, sorry. We're going to play this exchange first. And now they will peep. Scary move, I know. You can connect and then Hane. And this works because there is Sente here at T15. So when they play away, we can play here immediately. And we've actually kind of protected the cutting point. If they respond and then we don't protect, that means later they can play this peep and they can reduce the red side later. If you're really worried about that, you just attach. They play here, we connect, and this is okay, but we lose out on a point. We lose out on the T15 point. So that is a way of playing. We could play that way. If we play B, like I did in game, this is also okay, but it's not as great as like, oops. It's not as great as just connecting. Connecting was the best because it provided us the opportunity of playing on the right side. If you play B, something like in game is going to happen here, where you can play like this. Now, there is one thing I would like to go over, is what happens if white plays here? What can we do?
Extend again. You have the double peep seems annoying.
Yeah, double peep. So if opponent blocks, now what?
Cut on the inside and then sacrifice that stone. Cut on the outside. Cut off the 3 stones.
Yeah. So the reason we would cut on the inside is we cut on the side we don't care about. That way, if our opponent connects, we can take 2 stones, but we didn't give them an extra stone. If we played this way, we'd capture the 2 stones, but white gets a very thick shape against 2 stones here, which is what you don't want. Also, it's an eye. Don't give your opponents free eyes. So once you take, you play here, and now the 3 stones are in jeopardy, but there's also potentially something wrong with this corner here, right? So when white jumps, what can you do here?
Resign.
Resign.
You can always resign.
S18.
Yeah, S18, little fix. You can play here, and then they need to come back. So they gain 2 points in the corner, or 4 because they captured a stone, or 3. Sorry, 3 points in the corner. But then you gained a lot back from playing this way. So the right side isn't hurt at all. And then you get to attack these stones.
I have to go, but thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for coming.
You know, there's a food fund.
The food fund.
Yes.
Are we still interested in the game?
Yeah.
Not losing too much interest? Okay.
I'd say we probably should take like a 5-minute break though.
Sure, we
We
can.
have been going for like 2.5 hours.
Yeah. This does get pretty intense later, so if we should take a break. A 5-minute break, or
Upload this, right?
Huh?
You're gonna upload
yes,
this,
I will.
right?
I'm assuming the Bowser is a hit.
It was great.
I like him.
Cold by the time I got them though.
I blame it.
I also blame it.
What?
So in the chat, Ed said, "For a measly $20, I will bonk him for you." I responded with, "Check your Cash App."
Yeah.
Yeah, he paid. Are you leaving?
Yeah, I've got to
Oh.
D&D.
Is it in person or is it online?
in person.
Nice. That's the good kind. I
Mhm.
don't do D&D online. It makes me sad.
I tried gaming
He's
once.
still on
It was
camera.
horrible.
That sounds like ridiculous to me. I don't understand how people do it.
Jay knows as long as he's on the live stream camera, he can't be bonked.
I literally just bonked him.
He did.
Oh.
I got bumped.
Was it live?
I
Yeah.
I think the payment was to have it live.
couldn't I receive the money? I'm the one being here.
That's true too.
He's not doing the work.
Doesn't matter. You need to pay my medical fees. My arm's useless now.
See you guys.
See ya. These are so good, but they need to be warm.
Yes, they do. Is there? Can you put them back on the steamer or will that screw up?
The lecture that goes so long the food gets cold.
Dude,
Wow.
it was cold before the lecture started.
Oh, snap. Yeah. Got a broken?
I wanted to make them after the lecture.
Halfway through the lecture, my subscription to you ran out. I was like, why the hell am I getting an ad? I'm subscribed.
Get wrecked.
Wait, your subscription runs out?
Yeah, it's a monthly thing.
You have to just keep paying? Oh,
That's how subscriptions work.
that's rough.
Ragnar, think fast. You just crushed the world. What's the saying? The world is in the palm of my hand, or something?
Got the whole world in my hand.
Yeah.
I dated someone who had a really flat chest, and I called them my world.
Oh my god.
What?
And I made so many flat Earth jokes
Oh my god. Are we still
because
on?
they were a geography nerd. So I would make flat Earth jokes. They'd get real upset.
Just for future reference, how did that go over?
It went great. I loved it.
Oh, am I in your way?
You did mention this was somebody you used to go out with.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I think we know why they're no longer together. Huh?
My hair is just really cold today, and I can't fix it. That's life.
Hair is cold?
Tall.
Tall.
T-A-L-L.
It's very distracting.
In
I'm
truth,
so
I broke
sorry.
up with them because they weren't very stimulating for conversation.
Part of me wishes.
What I'm hearing is that the conversations tended to fall flat.
Yeah.
If you guys want something very entertaining that is non-Go related,
Yes.
someone made a video about the square Earth theory.
Oh, square Earth?
Yes, square Earthers.
No, I'm good actually.
Well, it's more of a cube. It's a cube,
Yeah.
not square, but
Yeah,
they
I
call it
get
a square.
I get it. I mean, it's also not.
I was like,
circle,
isn't
it's a sphere.
square Earth
Yeah.
still flat Earth?
Huh?
I was like, isn't square Earth still flat Earth because it's two
Conventional
dimensional?
flat Earth theory, it's a disc.
With
And
a
it's
wall-
not
wall of ice
flat,
around
it's slightly beveled so that you can't get to the end.
But if there's no elephants
Oh, I
underneath,
thought
and
it
no
was
sea
just like a
turtle, what's
wall
the
of
point?
ice around it, right?
Well, that's one of the theories. That's the ice wall theory. But conventional flat Earth theory, it's more of a lid because as you get closer to the edge of the world, gravity's pulling you closer to the center, so you're going to be angled like that. So in conventional flat Earth theory, it curves down just a little bit so that you're still standing up straight.
Of course, okay.
The true
I mean, if you're gonna be a flat earther, though, like, what kind of loser would you be if you accepted the conventional flat earth?
That's true. You gotta go the extra mile.
Anyway.
I feel
I'm
like
just
you
gonna
gotta be
stand here
like, all the other flat earth theorists are wrong because they don't understand my
My favorite flat Earth theory
my
is this,
elliptical flat earth theory.
is this lid theory, but then the other question of, well, what happens if you go around the edge? And the other answer is there's a second Earth that's mirrored to that, shaped similarly with a similar curve, so that you can always keep.
Might as well just be a regular.
that is the joke.
Oh, no.
Ragnar, in 2 weeks, I'll finally put out the video about men's and style.
Okay.
This week was Itsu. You probably don't give a shit about Itsu. But in 2 weeks, men's
What is Itsu?
pure straight. God,
I
you
go
better
for-
fucking know how to build an Itsu. I swear to God.
I go for Itsu all the time.
Okay,
for anyone who's interested, Will over here has a channel on Mahjong.
He's a professional mahjong player.
you cannot be a professional mahjong player in the United States. It's not physically possible.
Okay, he's in the way.
Do you or do you not make money?
I do, but not through the tournaments.
Oh, okay.
He makes money. He
I
makes
make
money
money
in
from gambling.
he makes money in the games that are played at the tournaments
Mhm.
that are not talked about.
Yeah. Because you don't make money at tournaments. The best you could do is if you win the tournament, which is not going to happen, and then you maybe break even because of travel expenses.
You're what, too non-professional though, right?
There's no Don rating for professionals. There's nothing. There's no rating. We don't have a rating in the United States. the
So you're like a two-down professional. Then.
No, but sure, whatever. Who cares? I mean, we had an invitational this year with the top 64 players, and I was there. Woohoo! Then we used a format that has never been fucking used once. They were like, "Oh, this is a good idea," and I was like, "No."
I will say we did start the lecture late, so let's continue.
All right, please go ahead.
Play connection. So here's kind of like a turning point that could happen. Probably some of you get this move, some of you may not. But there's really only one move here.
As black.
I'm not gonna guess it. I'm not gonna.
Where do you play? Yes, as black.
Black to play.
God,
Yep.
I want to peep.
017.
You're right. That is a move you can play to lose.
Can we come back to the build the right side idea and play N14?
N14.
What happens after the Atari though?
N14.
Which is hard. Which card?
The one right there.
Oh yeah.
And then just
The Atari.
well, not that one. I'm thinking you just extend down right now.
You don't care about those two stones on the top. Just look at
No.
themselves.
Yeah, I'm looking at that cut now.
God.
If you were thinking about playing N14 in your games, this is why you struggle.
Rude.
Just
kidding.
Have you considered
No, I
playing
would-
better moves?
I mean,
The reason why is you literally just created a shape that splits you. Don't play these shapes. Stop playing moves that force you to be split. If
Keep
you
playing moves that force you to be split. The Don players love it.
So I presume.
so
that-
you're saying there's a move that connects the right side and the top side.
no, I did not say that.
Okay, so you're split.
You're already split, yeah.
Is the peep have any purpose or no?
What peep?
And whatever the fuck the middle one is.
This one?
Yeah.
It's not a peep. It's already connected.
You could
Yeah.
play
Yeah. I
play.
guess you
There's only like
you
one
can actually
peep on
fix
the
that.
board. It's like
You need-
E16.
It also helps to recognize the peeps.
Do you just want to like
Yeah.
help those
E16
two
is the only peep on
stones?
the board.
Help those two
Yeah,
stones
let's see.
play an extension.
018 is a real peep,
But that one doesn't actually result in. Like,
but I mean, why just blocks?
yeah.
Do
And
you
then you
wanna-
die.
Do you want to play some sort of extension off the two stones?
Off the two stones, so like this one. That is an idea. You could play that way, yes.
That seems nice.
516.
You need to be worried about the cut on
No.
the right side at all.
You didn't even look at it. It's just that.
You mean the
On
peep?
right side, you mean S.
They just connect, and then you don't want to
I
play
don't think
here.
that really works.
I don't think it works either. I think because they don't have a stone on.
Not that you would cut directly, but like peep.
I'm
What
willing.
about R18?
R18 is a move you can play. It's a move that I played, but it's not the best move.
There's only one best move, and I'm pretty sure, based on how I know AI,
That's the best move.
it's
That is the
peep
best
or-
move.
That's insane.
And there are several iterations. So white jumps, we just take the base. White's always going to jump because they need to. We can continue jumping, and then white will make these exchanges.
Sorry, I don't understand why. You're saying that you can just make the base after?
Yes. So this jump puts a lot of pressure on white. So white's going to play moves like this, but it can get complicated with this type of stuff.
Is R14 the same vein as Q13? Asks Ed.
Yeah. R14 is the same, but it's lower. You do get the corner points, but now potentially you're not getting as much territory on the side. So R14 works. R14, Q13, both similar, but AI preferred Q13 after many playouts.
And the basic reason is just there's a lot of Aji with the cut, so you can just strengthen yourself.
Actually, no. So when the cut happens, we can do this. So what I showed you was one iteration that could happen if you carelessly play the Atari. So white is going to play this way, and then we can defend the corner like this, right?
But I mean, the reason why you're playing a Q13 is because you're worried about
The cut, yes. You do have to defend the cut. Sorry.
an R18. The move that was played is not as good for that purpose because the stone's on the outside.
Well, the issue is the peep.
I see.
We have the answer to the peep.
P13 smells sussy.
No one played P13, but okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So there's a few options here after white had played or black had played R18. One of them is to just extend along the top side, make a base. This is fine. You could also play here first and then play this. That would also be fine. The only reason you're doing this extra jump is like for extra protection on this group. It also helps the 3 stones a little bit. The other idea you could do is peep here, which is what I did in game, and then jump. The idea here is that we don't actually care about the base on the top side, and that we purely just want to attack this group. But I get into a little bit of trouble, and you'll see why. The AI prefers to play here first as the exchange, and then we jump once more. They play here, we peep, they connect, we peep again, they connect, and then we can either play this move or we can make a base.
Why not play 012 from the start? I mean, before white jumps out.
Before white jumps out?
Yeah, white hasn't jumped at N13. Look, I mean, so you played R18 and then white jumped out. What if you had just played 012 right now?
They would get the honey.
It's because of that? Okay.
Or they would get to cut first.
Okay.
And they cut, we descend.
And it's just because this is.
And then locally, white does not have to continue. If white wanted to, they can just connect. They're live in the corner now. So the right side was big, but we lost the corner in the process. So we had maybe 10, 12 points here. We don't have those points anymore. We now have to make it up by playing another move in the center.
And we can't also make their first run.
My Proverbs white is one.
Yeah, so like in this case, we can force this, and we need to continue doing it this way. And white has a lot of. So in this board, white has all the solid points. Black has points on the right side. That's literally it. So this is probably playable. I won't say it's not, but there's also the issue of like when white does jump out and you block, right? White can look to attack these stones or just come out, and these 2 stones are in trouble. They need to be somewhat protected, and like this is always going to be there, so white can always come back and play there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Also, if you're going to play locally, just play a move that protects and also solidifies the right side too. Right? Because now if white tanukis, like you can play on the outside now. Right? Does that make sense? Even connect, and now it's hard for white to cut through.
Mm-hmm.
So you've wrapped around white. White needs to live locally, type of thing. And if white just makes these exchanges and then lives locally, well, in this case, this would also be good for black because now there's you can't really. I have to use the mouse. There's this whole area here that looks good for black now, right? So one of the things is we can just play here and then we can force our opponent like this. And the idea is that white is weak here, and they still need to run. So like now they need to live locally, and by living locally, there's a chance that it's this one, maybe F5. There's a chance locally that we're going to get this line of points here. Right, so now we're getting the whole right side, which is it's 40 points.
And it looks like we have structure in the center too, finally. Right?
Yeah. Especially on the bottom. If we can add another move at K5, we probably have another 20 points here. So white would need to catch up around 65 points, right? So it's important to know the strengths and where you can get it. You also don't need to put all your eggs in one basket either, right? So that's kind of like a turning point in the game. Does that make sense, David?
I think so. I'm still just worried about. Yeah, I guess part of it is because I wouldn't have pincered originally.
Yeah.
It feels like you're gonna have trouble now managing that group along the L column and your left side.
Well, the good news is we should never have pincered, right?
So I guess I don't know. It's interesting.
The idea is wrong. The move is okay.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Here we can just protect like this.
Okay.
Or we can go one further and we can play here.
Yeah. Okay. I think I get the idea.
A lot of people, they take a look at these shapes and are like, I would never play that. That looks like it gets cut. But sometimes just let the shape get cut. Sometimes getting cut is okay.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. So for example, if the opponent just plays here, well, now we can go back to playing this move. And if you notice, black has two ways to build a large area. One is through here. The other one is on the left side. This is important. Or in this case, I would probably do the peep and then either jump or try to be a little bit more aggressive with like a Kama or something. I think the jump is fine.
I think what I don't understand is we said don't play N14 with the extension then at N13 because you're split and those two stones are damaged. But then we're just okay with getting cut and white taking the top side territory, right?
I'm guessing it's because our groups aren't weak anymore.
Once we have this connection stone here, we're not weak. Our three stones are connected. And white played on the second line. The second line is not important. Literally just this exchange here is already bigger than this move.
Yeah. After
And there's also... Sorry, go ahead.
after that exchange on the bottom, how important is D?
Not important at all.
No.
If the opponent turns, first of all, we can actually just make life on the top side by playing here and then taking. So that territory that was white's, not white's anymore.
Okay.
But that also means that we need to make sure we're giving up points in the center for worthwhile points on the top side. Because our two stones are now hurt, and that does mean when we get cut like this, we're in jeopardy on both sides. Now you do need to focus on saving some stones. And when I mean like let your opponent cut you, it's fine. I mean in a way that doesn't absolutely destroy you. So like if you play this move, you are purposely getting yourself cut. But that means the follow-up, you're going to have to protect something. Does that make sense?
I think so.
Because the difference is white's going to try cutting here, but we don't care about some of these stones. For example, we can play this one. We're threatening to cut this stone. We're threatening to cut 2 stones off. And we can play here. And eventually it comes down to white's going to make us stronger by trying to cut through us. Eventually they will be able to, like this. But it comes at a risk, right? Like they can't ladder yet. Eventually they will, but not right now. But I didn't play that. I played this move. This move is terrible. Why is it terrible?
You're not connected.
You are peaked.
Yeah, that is a problem. I'm peeped.
What are you threatening?
Oh, I'm threatening to cut through, like this. But that's the issue. Because when we block like this and we extend, Atari, and then I guess we can just connect. And play here, and then white starts attacking us. Doesn't feel that great.
Looks like that.
So don't play this move. This I don't know what I was thinking. I turned on the wrong cogwheels, and something happened. I can still rectify this position though. So when my opponent plays here, I jump, they follow, and then I have an opportunity to not mess this up. How can you fix this position? What's the issue with this one space jump?
The push and cut.
Yes, the push and cut. So what do you do?
Fix the cut.
Fix the cut.
How do you fix the cut?
G14. Yeah, that's or E.
G14.
That's good.
Okay.
G14 is the active way. If you
H14 is probably too scary.
you can do that, but I'm worried that
Oh,
the push and cut's still a thing
yeah.
because you're not actually.
Yeah, it looks bad.
You get this, and then you still need to. Are you going to connect here and then have 2 cutting points? Are you going to connect here and then potentially let white play here later? White's going to get all this right, but it's not terrible. But here's the kicker: white doesn't have to play that directly. White can be like, oh, I can play that later. It is a move you can play, but you have to be aware of the Aji. I'd say a stronger move is just play here, and if they jump again, now you cut. If they fix, well, you can just fix too,
Okay.
right?
It's like almost like H14 is trying to do 2 things poorly.
Yeah.
Only one space jumps.
So I just cut directly. I have no fear.
Oh boy.
My opponent connects under, which is correct. If you continue pushing, black is happy to just remove that connection and then start attacking this group. Because locally, if you try getting a move like this, I'm happy to play things like this first and then come back and attack your group with stuff like this. This is all Sente. And then try to go for a kill. So white plays here. This is also another opportunity. We can still play in a way that makes this game okay. Or I should say, we can still keep our advantage by playing a specific move. I would say look at white shape and what can you do to strengthen black while forcing white.
K17 make the wedge work.
Maybe.
K17. Well, if you just play here, a wedge now. If you just play this way, then
Not great.
you stole the territory, but
No, they don't.
What cost? There's also the idea that later the Hane connect to Sente, right? Because you need to save your stick. So if white gets Sente this way and then plays here, your 3 stones are cut off. You need to protect them. You have some Aji left over later. So the position's not super great. So here the move is this. We peep. But we peep with strong shape. You had the right idea earlier. They just protected already. Peep, if they connect, now we separate the stones. They're going to play this one. We block. If they nice move, because pushing would be too slow now, we can just extend along the lines. If they play here, we can still play this one, but now they're playing a lot closer. We can give up the stones. And now play this way. We're going to make a few exchanges. For example, we can peep first if they connect. It's important you do the peeps after you do the bottom. White might not respond to the first peep because the first peep is only cutting stone off. Without the bottom exchange here, you're only cutting 1 stone off. So maybe they jump out later. Right? They may ignore this directly. But now with the bottom exchange, this looks like you're capturing a whole lot of territory. So you play this way, and this would protect the right side, the Aji here. And then you're free to play a move like this. And this game is more or less even. I hope that makes sense.
Which means you're 6 points up.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm 6 points. So I turned, which gives white this position. And this, who was it that said my 3 stones would be in trouble for not connecting up? Someone said something about my 3 stones. Well, I made it 4, and now they're in trouble because they're not connected up anymore. Did you buy chicken for all this? And then at this point, unlike the last game, I feel like I am behind, which is correct. I played 2 bad moves that lost me some points, but I'm playing patiently in this game. I play here. This is a good move if you're a human player. If you're an AI, the AI hates it.
If you're professional, you're also not a good move.
No, actually, the professional liked my move.
Yeah. I was gonna say professionals aren't human.
They are. What are you talking about? They're definitely human. They're affected.
They're superhuman.
So I was praised for D10. The AI didn't like it, and it was because it wouldn't actually follow up here. It wanted to do stuff around here because there is some Maji here. So if we simply you can also do this. This is also Aji that would happen. Right? Like you can make stuff happen on the right side now. But once white's, attaching to stuff like this, once white has played moves like this, they've protected a very important weakness. And that means when they come out here, these stones are now attacked more aggressively. And I'm about to show you why. So my opponent, they play J13. And I attach immediately. What happens? Does anyone know what happens here? Besides Ragnar?
This is around the time I started watching, so I can no longer make
Hane on top.
Looks normal. Off so they can attack those 4 stones.
Okay, so Hane on top, and if I Hane underneath? Okay. Do you take my challenge? Are you going to take the 1 stone? I'm going to Atari. If you take, I can just Oh, I'm not going to connect. I'm just going to connect here.
Yeah.
And then if you take the baits, actually, I might play here. If I have the co-threats, I'll play this. Because that means both sides are in danger. But if I can't play the co, I just connect. And if you Atari, you get two Panukis right next to each other on the second and third line. But what did black get?
The corner.
The corner. Corner is important.
Which is pretty good.
Corner is pretty big. So you might have to.
Corner's worth 60 points.
Yes, it is. Totally. White can play this way, and then white will either connect. Yeah, no, white should probably connect. Black will play here, and then white needs to fix. There's a cutting point, and then we can go back to focusing on saving these stones.
Isn't there some Aji involving S6 and then S7?
Yeah. In this case, if white descends down, we're just going to play this way. But we don't have the ladder, so potentially we would just play this one, and then we'd let our opponent Atari us like this, so we can peep, and then we would come out. So if you leave this Aji intentionally, and your opponent tries to take it, what's the issue for white?
No, they have 2 weak groups.
Yeah. The corner is not alive. White technically has 1.5 eyes, but if black plays in the corner first by playing something like this, and they block, they no longer have 2 eyes. And if we play here, white has 1.5 eyes again. So we can always count on the fact that we can threaten white here. That does mean that white can play here, but it's complete gote. We don't need to save 1 stone.
Yeah, it was the phone.
I
I'm
see.
forgetting that there's a gap right here.
This would be disastrous for white. White would be losing for sure. We don't even need to save these stones anymore. We can still do the peeping stuff. And we can come back to fix. Like we can even play here and threaten directly to attack the group. If they protect, we can just solidify the right side and say this game is over. We can let these 4 stones be attacked, and we can just say we're going to win on points. Does that make sense? It looks really big, like those 4 stones, but I promise you this is like only 20 points. What is it?
Yeah.
6, 3 by 6, 18 plus 4, 24. So 25 points. But I am a Go player. My opponent's also a Go player too.
Yeah, never would have guessed.
So basically, the trick here is that because of this weakness at P3, I'm always going to have the ability to separate one side or the other. And it's just like, pick your battle. How are you actually going to be separated? So the professional player play this move. And here's a little Sumigo for you. I showed it to you in the last game. Black to play.
I don't like this.
You want to honey first and then do the jump out?
Okay,
Is that
honey
what you-
first.
Is that what you said?
And if I block,
Cry?
you're crying already?
I think so.
Use your Ricci powers.
See, when you're Ricci, you don't have any powers.
When you're
You play
reaching,
N5.
the game plays for
Itself.
you.
That's great, actually.
Yeah, N5. So now,
Pushes, you can ladder the 3 stones.
Yep.
Oh.
If
We
it's
take-
Basho, game plays you.
and then potentially white can capture a stone to save themselves, but the damage has been done. We got a lot of territory on the bottom.
I'm guessing that's not what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
And I still can't use my arrow keys for some reason. All right. So professional bumps, it's a better move than jumping out because we don't want to allow our opponent to Hane first and then jump out. Because we can take, but in this particular, can we do that? There. So if we play it now, we want to play this once and then we need to take. If we try to ladder after this, white will take. We Atari connects, and then we're down to liberties. So white can Tanuki once. Right, so we need to take, and then if white plays here, if we have the ladder, we bring the stone out. If we don't have the ladder, we play here, which white will take. And then this is basically another group that we would need to be fighting. You can also play here first. This is also fine. And then later you have a move like S4 that threatens the corner, but you're attacking this group. It needs to run. So that's how this fight could have gone. But white doesn't necessarily want to do that. You don't want to create two weak groups. So she pushed here. Black needs to jump out. We can't worry about our stone on the side. If we push out here, we are actually behind on liberties. White gets to capture first. So we jump to protect ourselves. That means we have to answer the push, and then push again, and then jump. This attachment that I played here at N3 created the opportunity that I needed in order to regain what I lost up here. Now white's corner is smaller. They have a weak group. We can fight this. There is a small issue, though. Can someone tell me why this move is bad?
It's okay if the two white groups attach each other, so why are you just trying to stop it?
You're trying to cut white off from its own thickness.
No. You guys are seeing that
You have a very long.
these stones are thick. They're not thick at all.
I was referring to the top side.
If we just push, how is white connecting to that thickness? So the real answer is that black can separate these stones with this without giving white the turn.
Okay.
So the big thing here is when black plays on top and white turns, do we have to answer that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because of the algae of the other side.
This is akin to like losing a move in a position, except for in this case, I would say it's more like losing half a move, because white still has to respond to this multiple times, but they get to do it in Sente. So like this, I'm going to threaten the corner first, then I come back and I cut this off, and then white should play here. This is directly threatening to cut the black stone, and then white can come back and play on this side, or they can play here and attack all these stones together. So you know how I was saying this was 25 points earlier? Well, I just add another stone to it, and it's getting a lot larger very quickly. No longer 25 points. So and this is kind of how the game would continue.
Is there
Yeah.
a cutting point at like 8-11 or 8-9 maybe?
Here?
No, up above. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. Like.
There is, but you don't want to cut.
Okay.
If you were trying to cut in this position, you're losing eye space.
Okay.
You don't want to do that. In the game, she had played this, which is a small mistake. Like we're not using the Aji immediately, and at any time she could have just used the Aji, right? But she doesn't, and she plays this bump move, which is wrong. This was a good time to play the move, force this, and then play here, because it's hard for black to break this shape here. So instead, when black plays here, it's a lot harder because now I'm actually threatening to just cut directly and kill these 2 stones. So she lost timing on that, and then she made a bad exchange. Not a problem. Apparently I wrote something here. Oh, no, that was earlier. Okay. And then she played here. Same issue, right? You'd have to play here, but now there's a cut. And as black, I can defend myself by going here. So now this group is still not connected. There's 2 cutting points. And there's a cut point here. There's a cut point here. I actually prefer triangles. There's 2 cutting points here. There's a cutting point here, right? So white's shape is actually in tatters, while white still wants to try to profit from this. Because right now, the right side is still big, and the bottom side, if it's eaten, it just means that there was no real profit in the fight. So like this, we play here, we play this, take the ko, can't connect it, not yet, connects, and then maybe black can play here. But if they play this one, and then turn, black still is going to lose the top side and white's connected. So black cannot accept connecting this ko. Black plays here, prepares a ko threat. Then we play this one. White responds. We take. White fixes by taking, but that means black can take the bottom. So at this point in the game, who do you think is winning? We haven't done any sort of counting at all.
I like black's position because now the bottom right corner seems
Yeah, I
like it's a little weak.
So I will say the bottom right corner is alive. There's nothing you can do to it.
Damn, really?
Well, you can get good endgame out of it.
Yeah, you can reduce it even further. It is a tiny corner.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
And I mean, you got that big side/bottom. I don't know. I think black's winning because there's no Komi.
Yeah.
Very close.
That's why. I didn't know it was a no coming game. That's why I was always counting white as really ahead.
If it was in this position, you'd be counting that white had 5 points,
5 points.
which is a lot against professionals.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm an amateur. Anything can happen. Huh?
Is the connection at a Q13 still needed for black?
Yes.
Good point, please. There.
So white actually peeps here. We connect here, 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 and then here. So we have a potential weak group, and then white plays this move. Very nice.
I don't remember what happened here.
So we should have connected. We didn't. And then like this, we could peep. They connect. We play here. And now the game would be... if I could play perfect endgame, the game would be over. Essentially.
Which you definitely can, right?
Yes, exactly. So I won this game, guys. This is not false advertisement. I definitely won. No, so in the in the actual game, when white peeps, I play here because I'm like, my group is weak over here. I lost all the territory that I should have had over here. My opponent plays here. I connect.
You're not on the game variation.
That's because the game variation doesn't have the left side stuff.
Oh, okay.
I just forgot to put it in. Hane, she plays here, and the game is even still up until this point.
Yeah, this
This is the turning point of the game.
Loses your corner.
Kind of.
Ooh, I like kind of.
You can play a terrible move that turns it into a ko, and then you're very sad.
Ah,
So, this will be the final part. This is gonna like end the game. This is like end of game type of scenario.
we're trying to find the move you made that ended the game.
No, you're trying to find the best way to play.
Okay.
That's 12.
S12.
I guess.
Can you attack the 3 stones to make life in the corner?
Attack the 3 stones to make attach.
Like, yeah. I don't know.
Well, they just play here. You Atari connect, and then you lost in Liberty, technically speaking.
The peep at
You don't really gain any ice space, yeah. So.
Peep at 018 is not the move.
Yeah.
All I see is back off and protect.
You guys really like the peep at 018.
Yeah, we do.
A move that doesn't end in a ko. That's
I didn't say it has to end in ko.
So that doesn't. That black just lives in the corner outright. Is that what we're looking for?
Yes.
You're gonna get a ko.
Yeah.
I want T15 to kind of like shrink what size space.
If you play T15, it's definitely better than the move that I played, but it's still not. That's also not that great. There's huh,
So it just plays on the outside.
and then you play here,
That's unpleasant.
and then I play this one. Well, if you play like this, I'm living. Or sorry, if you play like this, I'll just live in the corner, and then you really don't have anything of life in this position.
Right.
I guess you can play here. Maybe I should make some exchanges first. Like when you play this move, I should kick and then play here. Then play this. And then play here. And now you're not alive.
This is what I was hoping for.
This would have been really nice.
That'd be neat.
Dead group. Nice.
That is not what happened.
No, what happened was
Or what should have happened.
if you're thinking about S13,
Yeah.
congratulations, you played what I did.
Which is bad.
Yes, because white cuts
Yeah.
and then plays a fantastic Tsuji. You know the saying, weird stuff happens at the 1-2 point?
Yeah.
Well, it's the 1-2 point.
The weird things happen.
The best way you can play is just play like this, and then you're forced to play a ko. And white will play this ko directly, but as we know, white had already prepped the left side to play the ko. If you played this way, congratulations, you only lost by 7 points. Now I'll show you how to actually win the game.
Why didn't
really?
you just connect that?
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not at all.
So here, and then you could play this move.
Okay.
You just play this one. And then
Do
here,
that, and then you just kill the ice space.
you just take this. And if they try playing this one now, well, you have this. There's no ko.
Yeah.
I do like Noco.
They will probably play this one, and then play here, and then you take.
So why didn't you just connect?
Isn't that
What?
That the stuff that started this fight. Why didn't you just connect?
I thought I had to kill it.
Fair.
So in this position, even though I captured this after this left side, I thought maybe the game was even, and if I let white just run out, then I lost all my points. So I was just like, I think I have to kill this. Which, this is why evaluation skills are very important.
Okay, so that means white's peep was a mistake then, because you killed
Nope,
this.
white's peep is fine.
Really?
Still reduces,
Even though you
right?
killed this whole thing?
Yeah, but the issue is how white does it. So like this is still an even game, but it's supposed to be a ko. So white is meant to play this into here, and if you try connecting now, white will play here and play this ko.
Ah, I see.
And although the ko is not as big, it is a ko. So like white can play here.
So there's still no way for black to
live outright in this.
There's no way for black to live outright. But that does
But
mean
this co is better than the other.
It's
Yeah,
two steps.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you would have connected against the P, what would that have looked like?
the peep here.
Yeah.
We just connect. If the opponent, so we have a couple options. Our opponent's going to play this one. We can play here and then just either play that or this one, which white needs to respond. If they try to be greedy, then we just Atari, and when we make this shape, we now have a direct access to this, but we don't want to play this way. The way we handle this is we just play here and play this one. The way we fight this, because we do lose points here, the way we fight this is we make an exchange first. We're threatening to kill everything without giving up a stone. So if they connect, we can just push and cut.
What if they connect the other way?
If they connect here, we just attach. We leave the Aji. So we wouldn't want to play this. We just play here. And we just come back. If later fight comes back and fixes, that's fine. We also don't have to respond immediately. We can play stuff like this. And we can threaten the group.
Is that reduction enough to put white comfortably ahead?
No, it's not. I'm going to say I generally don't understand the peep. It's AI move. I would prefer to just play this directly. Oops. Just play like this. But it is a really nice reduction for white. It doesn't give much, but it is a nice reduction.
So when the pro played that move, they
Yeah,
were
in
expecting
center.
a reduction. Not
So,
a
huh?
co. When the pro played that move, the peep, they were expecting a reduction and not a
Yes.
co.
So in the actual game, I play this move. And we get into this position where I didn't play that one. I actually go for something worse.
Oh, nice.
I let my opponent connect underneath. I play here, 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 and then I play this one. My thought was it's a co regardless, right? If I lose the co, I lose my corner.
Sure.
So if I just steal points while doing it, I don't lose anything. Apparently, you can't be more wrong.
I have a question. Why did you do the push at 018?
It's just points.
It was just points.
Yeah. It doesn't actually gain me any liberties. It's
That's
just
why I was asking because it doesn't
yeah.
gain liberties. So I wanted to know what would be. You
It
had
was,
to have a reason to
it was
play
just points. So I could have played this, and this would have just been a direct kill. And if like this is not a kill that I want to play, right? Because if they actually, I think they can just connect at this point, and then this reverts to another co that I was looking at, and I did play this move directly instead of the other one because I can play a co. But if the co is going to revert to this right side, then I don't want to make this co at all. So, they have to connect. If I take, then I just die, right? So in the actual game, I play here, this one, and then I'm pretty sure I Tanuki'd. Oh no, I played here, and then white decided to play this. And I will say from this point on, there's nothing but losing points. I mean, there's a chance to make the game close, but if we go from here to what was the move? I think it was this one. I play this, push here. Whoops. Oh, I know what it was. She connected. And then I Hane, jump, push here. And then I decided to cut, which this, if we're going to talk about like where the game was actually lost, it was here. Because the game was within 6 points at this point because she lost points with some of these variations. When I played here, the game was lost. I actually could have pressed probably further by trying to fight this shape. Like if I tried fighting this Ko, I think the game is within 6 points. But when I played this move, the game is over. White's up by like 12. And then eventually gets into like 30 plus points because I lost all my territory. Yeah. So that is an amateur versus a pro. I kind of push the ending out, or not push. I scrunched it together because the lecture ran long. But if you have any questions about it, let me know. If you're interested in knowing who the pro was, it was Cho Hae-yeon, the 90 female professional.
The way you say the 90 female, is she the only 9 non-pro female?
Well, no, there's two Cho Hae-yeons.
Oh.
So the female non-professional.
This should be included.
Yeah. All right.
Do you think you can win now?
I think I need 2 stones in order to fight her.
I mean, that's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
Probably in a serious game. Reverse split. The jump is moving toward your own weakness. Reverse splitting attack. I wish I read these during the chat of the game. Rui Naiwei is also 9p. Yes, that is correct. All right. I took a lot of your times. We only have these once a month, so feel free to stick around and play more Go, or soak up all the knowledge you just learned today.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.